for the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom Chanka, how's it going everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by Henry Hotspur. As you can see in Guangzhou, China, the backdrop of the city behind him there. How you doing, Hotspur?
It's no backdrop of city. That's literally like the apartment block that I live in. It's not a skyscraper. It's nothing interesting at all. I guess it just kind of looks okay on my shitty iPhone 6S.
Yeah, you've removed the facade there, mate. I was trying to make out you're in this cosmopolitan place there. But no, it's just some shitty apartment block at night.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm humble, mate. Humble pie. Eat that.
Anyway, great to see you, mate. Loving the hair this week. What's going on there? I wasn't sure if I was speaking to Henry Hotspur or the lead singer of Incubus, Brandon Boyd, right now.
Oh, come on. Don't flatter me. Yeah, I know what this is. Pig and the Hen fans. This is him trying to butter me up like literally a piece of bread with his bloody knife out. He's got his knife out, trust me. At the moment, he's got a piece of butter on it, and he's spreading it on, and then he's going to come out chopping me up shortly.
That's right.
Trust me.
Oh no, you've got me misunderstood. I don't want to, after last week and everything, pile on the anguish. Anyway, we won't talk about that for a while, but of course it's got to be covered at some point, really. But yeah, no, I'll probably be piling it on pretty thick, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a bit of butter for now. Brandon Boyd, Incubus, honestly, one of my favouriteest bands growing up. As is one of you. I think there's one band actually that me and the Pig agree was a great band in the late 70s, early 2000s, when they were at their peak. Yeah, late 90s. Did I say 70s?
You did, mate. I was thinking, Christ, they've had a long career.
Sorry, not late 70s. Late 90s, early 2000s, Incubus, brilliant band.
Brilliant.
Original, very different to a lot of bands out there. You can't really nail them down to a genre in many ways. Respect to Incubus.
Mate, there's not many bands that now in 2019 I still listen to regularly, and their three albums in particular, Science, Morning View and Make Yourself, those three albums I hit religiously in the car still to this day 100%.
I mean, me and you are in total alignment actually, pretty much in political alignment with each other for the first time in our life when it comes to those three albums. But what I can say is their latest album, Incubus, was absolutely shockingly bad.
Oh, no,
so
I haven't even actually listened to that, so that's not good.
If you want to listen to Incubus, then just go back to when they were actually good. You know, I'm repping that kind of haircut.
Respect. Interesting start to the show here. Henry Hotspur, you're looking good, mate. There's good lighting here. There's a little bit of wind noise. Maybe you should get the old cupping hand out at some point if needs be, if you hear the wind. But, you know, what's that you're sipping on?
Just a Bing Tao. You like to call him a Bing Tao. It's not a Bing Tao, it's a Ching Bao. Yeah?
A Bing Tao. I saw that in the shop the other day, mate. I nearly bought one. But in the end, I bought a few Heinekens. Because at the weekend, me and the missus, we went over to Dorchester and we watched, we stayed at a hotel and we watched the Joker movie, mate. Finally, before it goes out of cinema. Have you seen it yet?
But did you watch that on purpose? Because, you know, that is like part of the conspiracy of the third kind. You know,
I can't really remember what your conspiracy of the third kind was, to be perfectly honest. And what was it again?
Do you not remember me talking about Joker? Do you not remember me talking about this movie?
I'm just trying to remember what you were saying, though. I remember it came up, but what were you saying?
It is contrived to actually give an impression to push an agenda that it's okay to be someone in society that is basically glorifying crime and much more so than something like Grand Theft Auto. You know, it's actually got to the stage in Hollywood where you're making on-screen heroes out of villains. and making it out that that's the kind of garbage that we're supposed to be watching.
Well, I tell you what, Henry, it's actually
and
it is quite appropriate then that I did go and see it and have a bit of information to share with you. Then, personally, I thought that this big hullabaloo, or to your point, the fact that it's being glorified in cinema, I think in this particular instance, it's not really any more so. In fact, it's lesser so than a lot of films I've seen recently, mate. There's much more violent films. There's plenty of films that are more glorifying violence, I think, than this particular film. There is some moments of proper violence in there, but in a lot of cases, it's tame compared to some of the other movies I've seen, mate. So I don't think this one's anything special or stands out in particular. I think it's just the fact that it's such a big movie that people were jumping on it for various different reasons. But
of course, big movie, people are going to be looking at it, people are going to be coming up with their own ideas of what it's about. I mean, the issue for me is it's, even though it's not targeting children, I'm sure it's aged, what is it, a 15? Is it an 18 in terms of UK viewers?
I think it was a 15. I think so. I'm not 100%, but I think it was a 15, yeah. Could be wrong.
What concerns me is, I'm used to. There we go. If it's a 12A, this is what concerns me when it's
definitely not a 12A.
I want my kids going to the cinema. If they're 12, if they're 15, and watching a movie where they can be inspired by the main character. Joker is certainly not a movie that I want my son going to thinking, yeah, I want to be just like him, Dad, with the smiley face.
Yeah, but it's intended for adults, isn't it? It is intended for adults, or at least teenagers to adults. That sort of a range.
But for me, Batman never was. In terms of the Batman comic book series, was it ever actually intended for adults? No, it wasn't. A comic book is for kids. Whether that's a young child, whether that's a 11, 12-year-old, or even someone just getting into their teens, or even mid-teens. However you look at it, a comic book has always been for kids. And now what we're doing is we're making movies for adults based on the villains.
There are comic books for adults, like some, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like graphic novel type ones. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what about the Japanese ones with the
anime?
That's it,
Naruto and shit like that. I've never really seen any of that, to be perfectly honest, but
Maybe not.
No, I know you have. Anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to bring up the point that I don't think it's overly glorified violence. I think it's a lot more violence in other films that's glorified more so. Do you know what I mean? I mean, think of those horror films like Saw and stuff like that. That's literally about keeping people in a room and torturing them in the most horrible ways imaginable for like some sick sadist reason. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, but come on. I mean, that is an all-out adult
Okay, but this is for adults. It's not a 12A. It's not a PG. It is an adult-themed movie that's clearly got plenty of violence in it and is clearly about very dark topics. But these topics do exist in our society. And it was the way it was done, just to let you know, that it was very, very well done. I thought it was a good movie. Great performance by Joaquin Phoenix. So I'd recommend seeing it.
I'm sure Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor. You look at Gladiator,
I reckon he's not. That's not probably one of his best roles. I find.
I think he
is great in that. You do think he's an absolute turd, yeah.
No, but exactly. That's what.
I know.
That's what makes it. That's what makes it.
Great movies, yeah.
End of the day, he's better than Russell Crowe is. I mean, he actually makes that movie in some ways. That was Russell Crowe's best ever.
I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna have that, mate. In that movie's not better than Russell Crowe. Come on. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I shall have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Exactly. You could have done Russell Crowe's part there. This is what I mean. Anyone could have. The reason it made it so meaningful is because obviously that's the most buff Russell Crowe's ever looked. Plus the fact that Joaquin Phoenix does a fantastic job of being such a horrible, slimy, disgusting Roman emperor, and it really makes you feel for the Russell Crowe character in that movie.
I think that's quite easy to do, though, Henry. Makes it. I think it's quite easy to do, mate.
What, to be a slimy, disgusting, horrible
I'll tell you what it
Roman
reminds
emperor?
me of.
Go on, then.
I don't know. You could who's that guy?
You just done Russell Crowe. Why don't you do Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator right now?
All right, easy. Ready?
Go on then.
Any prick can do that, mate.
Had no feeling at all. I watched that as well. Awful.
I think who's that Bolton guy who's in Game of Thrones? He just reminds me of that. It's like he's literally gone, I'm just going to try and be Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator throughout this Game of Thrones.
What, Ramsey, you mean?
That's him, Ramsey Bolton, mate. Yeah, that prick. Henry, you've got a lot of wind noise on the go there, mate. What's happening?
I don't know, mate. Well, I would cup, but I've got a beer in my other hand, so I've got one hand holding the phone, one hand holding a beer, so that's just how it's going to be, you know? I'm not cupping nothing.
Piss poor. You see, this is the commitment we've got from the hen today, mate. It's like, oh, we don't give a shit about the sound quality, even though it's an audio podcast as well. We'll just let the fuckers struggle.
Yeah, but I'm still waiting for like a wind deflector. You're supposed to be sending me something.
And I'm still waiting for your details so I can send it to you. This is some sort of ridiculous running theme that's been going on about 2 months, mate. Send me your freaking address and postcode, mate.
Yeah, well, I will do. But you ain't asked for it.
Well, I've asked for every show, every week for about 2 months. Anyway, let's get crack on with the show. I just want to say thank you to Henry for joining me today. Thank you to everybody else who's tuning in already. There's a bunch of you legends in here, so thanks for stopping by. I'll just give a few shout-outs at the start.
Seriously?
There's a few people in here.
Still got people that listen.
There's a couple of people in here. Jimmy James Computers, how you doing? JP, great to see you in here. Gungshi, Mo Wada, Griffo Chaz, Richard James, Mark Sin, just the usual committed legends, basically. Marek Stachowski, you know, all the usuals. Craig Herbert. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and stopping by on the live stream today. Do us a favour, if you are in here, please smash a cheeky little like on the video and get your thoughts and comments in as we go along, and we'll read a bunch out as we go. I'm just going to read a couple of early super chats that have come in out because it would be rude not to, and that is from Gungshi, the first one. Gungshi, thank you very much. Comments, you two legends need to try Taiwan's beer, imaginatively named Taiwan beer. It's pretty damn good. Have you tried Taiwan beer, Henry?
Well, they wouldn't. I don't think they sell it out here, or if they did, then it would be well overpriced, you know. Having said that, I have seen Taiwanese products out here in terms of like frozen sausages and odd bits and bobs. So you know, I'd be happy to give it a go, you know. But I have not seen it. Please send us in an image, Gunshi, and I'm sure I'll be coming over to Taiwan at some point. You know, my missus wants to go. Be an interesting place to go. It's not that far. Just jump on a plane. You know, there we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Gungshi, for your early comment there. Alex Rudd also comments and says, "Are you not entertained?" If there's any young'uns watching, by the way, because I'm guessing Gladiator came out about the year 2000 now, thinking about it. Like
No, 1999.
Was it? Well, okay, I said around about the year 2000. Crikey, do we have to be that precise? Sounds like we do.
Get the decade. Yeah, get the decade. Get the decade right.
Well,
might even be 98.
I said around about, so that gives me a swing of at least a year either way, I would say, mate. So 99 to 2001, roughly. Right, I'm going to look into this now. I'm not happy about this. Be
a big fat red cross. If it was a test, mate.
So I'm looking.
It would be marked down as wrong. Simple as that.
And I've just had a look, and it was released on the 12th of May 2000. So you're having a freaking double day mare anyway, mate. So I was actually spot on in the first instance, so just want to put that out there.
Are you actually?
Yeah, Alex Rudd comments, Gladiator came out in 2000. Alex Rudd just Googled it. So, look, mate, I'm sorry you're having mares. Anyway, the point I was going to make...
I was getting confused with Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh, as you do. Okay, because they got the same themes.
Exactly, very similar movies. You know what I mean? Easy to confuse them two.
But anyway, the reason I wanted to bring that up is anybody who's a young'un who might be watching this, because if you think about it, somebody born in like 1996 right now, it's like they're an adult, but they're pretty young, mate, and they probably missed out maybe on Gladiator, who knows. So watch it, because it is a pretty awesome movie. Anyway, right, that's enough of the movie chat. Now let's get bang into the football chat, obviously. Henry, a lot of wind noise going on there. Get your cup in hand out, mate. Take my strong hand, child.
Another movie reference. Could anyone... Someone in the comments, let's not say the movie.
Everybody knows that.
If anyone could come... Oh, do they? I'm not so sure.
Okay, anyway, everybody who's tuning in, thanks for stopping by and get your thoughts and opinions in. Gungshi's just sent another super chat with a hippo with a thumbs up. Thank you very much there, Gungers. Nice one for supporting the channel as you do, mate. And everybody else, get your thoughts in as we go. Stefan commented they missed out on the 90s, full stop. Indeed, yeah, lots of awesome times happened in the 90s, the 80s, of course. And I'm sure in 20 years' time they'll look back and go, "Oh, these kids who missed out on the noughties." But anyway, let's get bang into the football then, Hotspur. So Spurs are melting. They're in 14th place in the Premier League. They're having an absolute bloody nightmare. They didn't have the excuse of not having Harry Kane out on the pitch last time. You had him on there, didn't score, ineffective. What's going on? Sheffield United 1-0 up, and then they come back into it and get the equaliser. Oh dear. It's just a complete snowball of a shit show right now for Spurs. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed, absolutely. End of the day, I said this last week and I'll say it again. You have your not established, that's the wrong word. You certainly have your obvious top four teams at the moment. And you laughed at me saying, well, yeah, obviously the top four are the obvious top four. But no, I was dead on accurate about that. Bottom line, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Leicester are absolutely, a decade away. Decade's the wrong word. I'm trying to, they're miles away from anyone else in the Premier League. And Tottenham should be there. We should be up there with those teams. We have absolutely capitulated this season. I can't really put my finger on it. We're still competing in the Champions League, but to be honest, I couldn't care less about that. If we are degenerating as a side in the Premier League, I've been comparing us to Manchester United just as a comfort blanket for myself, thinking, well, United is still kind of a sort of top team. At least we're sort of there or thereabouts to them, and even you are. I know it's just one game, but even Manchester United look to be more confident and more. You have more presence in the league than Tottenham at the moment. We really do look awful. I mean, we've got one player that we don't even deserve. I think there's a lot of Tottenham fans out there saying exactly the same. Son Heung-min scored against Sheffield United. It was a good goal. He was trying, and he's literally pretty much the only player that looks like a top four player at the moment for Tottenham Hotspur. Our whole team is absolutely shot on confidence. It's a massive concern.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it, Henry. You basically said it all there. It's just not happening for them for whatever reason. It's quite crazy to think that they were in the Champions League final and now they're 14th in the league in the middle of November. It is an unbelievable fall from grace. I don't really know the cause of it. What is the cause of it? I mean, is it just the fact that they've had a bad run? Has Pochettino lost his way? Is the team undermotivated? Is it not a good enough squad? I personally think that it's not that at all, because if you look at what they did last year and how they've improved over the years, they've obviously got the players there. It's just a weird, I don't know what it is, mate. Maybe they sort of spent themselves emotionally after last season's disappointment of losing that Champions League final. I don't really know. You would think they'd get back on the horse and start and carry on as they were, but no, they've just bottle jobbed it big time. I mean, to be brutally honest, from a neutral, it's hard for me to say in particular, but if I was one of the other neutrals who were higher up, I'd be absolutely laughing my head off at Spurs at the moment, because there's no real reason to their nightmare. It's just happening.
Especially when you look at some of the signings we made. For once we actually made some interesting signings. I don't have a problem with these players at all. I don't think it's anything to do with the likes of Lo Celso or Ndombele or Ryan Sessegnon. It's nothing to do with them lads that we're not doing well. Of course not. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if I was to put my finger on something, and I don't think it's particularly blaming anyone in particular, but I think this situation has not helped, and I think it's Christian Eriksen. Because, in my mind, Christian Eriksen, you've always highlighted him as one of our top players. He's still a top player, and he still looks all right. It's not like he's doing a Tevez. He's not throwing his toys out of the pram. But as soon as Eriksen wanted out, there's rumours, and he didn't get the move out, but he was still decided to obviously continue professionally for Tottenham Hotspur. I think it affected the team, because we were at our best when we had Eriksen firing on all cylinders, Dele Alli at his best, Son there, still being the same amazing player that he is, Harry Kane being a much better player than he's been recently. Suddenly, as soon as we kind of lost Eriksen's commitment, things started to change. And this goes back to early 2019, because obviously before the press got wind of this, before fans got wind of this, the players must have known that Eriksen, wasn't 100% there. And, we've had an awful year. So, I mean, I might be wrong, but if I'm going to put my finger on something, it kind of makes sense that, that even just one player can actually, change the whole feeling. It's like someone
upset the status quo, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Someone out of the class of 92. Just imagine Scholesy back in the day, and just imagine if you hadn't won that certain league at that certain time, and someone like Scholesy said, you know what? Yeah, I want to go to Barcelona, Real Madrid. Who knows? Who knows? United's history could have been different. But good job is you actually won that season that Scholesy might have had that inkling of whatever, for example, and then you continue to go on and win trophies. That could be the difference in football sometimes.
Yeah,
keeping that squad together.
I don't really know what it is about Pochettino and Eriksen falling out, or his lack of wanting to play him and upset that status quo that they had. Is it because, like you say, Eriksen made it clear that he did want to leave and go to maybe pastures greener, and that has led Mauricio Pochettino to take him out of the squad? Because, like you say, upset the equilibrium, another movie reference there, just upset the equilibrium in the side. You had Eriksen, you had Dele Alli all playing great together, Kane's getting the service provided, Son, I don't know, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because Spurs do have a great midfield. But I tell you what, I'm looking at the lineup that, I'm not looking at it now, but I looked at it earlier, the lineup that you played Sheffield United against, and it's not as strong as it could be looking, mate. I mean, you've got Sissoko in there, yeah? Who's your other midfielder that played alongside him in that game?
I think we started a Ndombele.
Was it? Okay, fair enough. And then your back line, for whatever reason, you got Dyer at centre back. You got Ben Davies. I don't know. It just struck me as not being the strongest look Spurs side that I've seen for a while.
I'm not sure if Vertonghen or Alderweireld had an issue there, but we may have even been dropping these defenders. I don't know. Because of the poor run of results that we've had, and he's looked at Dyer, he said, "Well, let's get you in the team." That could have been the case. Obviously, we're playing Champions League at the moment, so that was probably a factor as well. So it's a tricky one. I mean, I'll go back to right back as well. For me, is a massive issue. We were looking at Kyle Walker, who for me is still doing a fantastic job for Manchester City. You can't he's not a perfect player, but there's nothing wrong with Kyle Walker. We had a top right back there, and then we were doing great with Kieran Trippier, and I know he had a bit of a lull, but he looked
very
like
surprised you let him go still to this day.
And then we've let him go, and then I mean, for me it is a big issue. It's a big issue, and it is. I could go on and on and on about Tottenham Hotspur. I can't. I'm not an expert. Poch knows better than I do. And I just try to look at it and try to pick out things that I think...
I'm not sure if Poch does know better than you do,
there.
mate. If you were manager of Spurs at the start of this season, I would have put my money on you being higher than 14th in the league by now. No, fair play. No, he's obviously a great manager. He's had a great few years. He was good with Southampton before as well. He's proven in the league. But this is a nightmare. It's a big test for Pochettino this now, because it's like do or die, make or break. You've got to turn it around. Spurs fans will not tolerate being in this position come Christmas. It's all well and good after 11, 12 games or whatever to be here. It's a calamity. But you've got to start bailing the water out of the ship. Do you know what I mean? And bringing that buoyancy back to the side, mate. Because at the moment they're sinking. And he's got to start bailing that water out, and they've got to start climbing up the league again. If you look at United, it's so funny how much a difference a day makes. Because if you look at United fans a week ago, we're down in the sort of 14th position or whatever, and everybody's just like, this is a complete calamity, it's a nightmare. And even if you look at the league now, we're only a couple of points ahead of you down in 14th, so it's not like real points wise there's that much of a difference. But the position being 7th in the league for United now, obviously we smashed Brighton 3-1, great performance from United, really attacking, just fantastic, lots of chances, breath of fresh air, and that's put us up to 7th in the league. Now we've got Sheffield United after the international break. That's a huge game, because if we win that game, then do you know what, we're up to 6th, we're up to 5th in the league, whatever. And then suddenly it's like, oh, we're back hunting for those European spots again. And you never know, if we could just have an amazing season, it just gives you that shot in the arm of confidence that you need in a dire situation. So Spurs have to get back on the winning track. They've got to start playing like the old Spurs again, which I'm sure they can do. They've got the players there, the manager's there, he's experienced, but they've got to turn it around. It's a big test for Poch and his Spurs team right now, and I'm bloody loving
it. Obviously, we've got. I know you are. Obviously, we've got the international break coming up. To be honest, I welcome it. Actually, we're doing that bad. We just need to regroup, have a proper think about what we're doing. We've got a massive game coming up the weekend after this one, which is West Ham. So Derby, they are looking awful at the moment. I don't think they've won in their last 5 games. Manuel Pellegrini is kind of absolutely melting. He looks like he's melting, and he's melting physically and in terms of the results for his side at the moment. So we have to be smashing West Ham. We need to get back to winning ways. I mean, Tottenham. Yeah, we haven't won a game for the last 5 games. It's shocking. It's shocking. And Sheffield United, Manchester United, that's going to be an interesting game. I cannot sing Sheffield United's praises enough. I've seen them a couple of times this season. Obviously, I paid special attention to them, watching them play against Tottenham, and they were the better side. We were lucky to have the draw. Sheffield United should have won all day long. The much better team, much better side, and that's what concerns me, because even though they've done very well, they haven't actually lost. Sheffield United have not lost away from home. This is a freshly promoted club into the Premier League that has not even been in the Premier League since the 90s. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Right.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a long time, and I mean, the job that is it Wilder. I think the Sheffield United.
Carlos Tevez was at West Ham the last time they were sent down, because I remember the reason they went down. Do you remember there was that controversy with them having Mascherano and Tevez on loan, and Tevez scored a pivotal goal against United. It was on the final day of the season, which sent Sheffield United down. I think Warnock was the manager at the time, if my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, it's been a long time since they were been in the Premier League, and they are 5th at the moment, mate. They are 5th in the Premier League. They're above Spurs, they're above United, they're above Arsenal.
It's amazing. I mean, my 3 best managers in the league at the moment has to be Klopp, obviously Lampard, because Chelsea are just winning left, right, and centre.
Brendan Rodgers is doing well as well.
Sorry, 4 managers. Brendan Rodgers as well, but certainly, and I've forgotten his first name. It escapes my mind, but I'm pretty sure it's something Wilder. Is that right? Do you know? You should know, Pig. Come on. What's his name?
It's escaped me right now. You put me on the spot.
All right,
it's definitely Wilder. It's definitely Wilder, but I can't remember his freaking first name.
Someone comment in with the guy, because he deserves for us to give him a shout out on the Pig and the Head show. I know that would make his day.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Indeed. Yeah, Sheffield United, they're doing absolutely amazing. I mean, I was talking about it in my post-match show the other day, like their goal difference as well, they're +4. It's the same as Man United. It's 5 better than Arsenal. They're there on merit. They're doing a great job, and to come up from the Championship is just unbelievable. Griffo Chaz, thank you, mate. Comments Chris Wilder. James Mosscrop, shout out to you. Says
there
Chris
we go.
Wilder.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's definitely Wilder. Just Chris is the most forgettable name ever. That's why. Like, what's your name, Chris? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's the most forgettable name ever. Sorry, anybody called Chris out there. I'm sure there's a couple of you don't mean anything by it.
Griffo Chaz is probably like Chris Chaz, but it's like Griffo.
He's Charlie. He's Charlie Griffiths is his name. So,
is
there
it?
you go. He's done the old backwards nickname first. Tricky.
Starts with a CH.
There we go. So yeah, fair play. I mean, tough game for United. They've just gone away to Spurs and pulled back from 1-0 down. They're obviously a great team at the moment. Say what you want about them. I doubt they'll be there come the end of the season, obviously. But right now, they've got a great team unity. They're playing like a good team. The manager's doing a great job. They've got a good squad of players, which, if you look at their team, they're doing a remarkable job, because it's like one of those situations where the sum of the parts is greater than the individual pieces. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are just a great team. He's getting the most out of them. He's squeezing the most out of them, but they don't have any real quality star players in there, which is even more the remarkable. So fair play. Shout out to Sheffield United. It is going to be a tough game after the international break. United are going to have to go there and do a good job. I just want to talk about United's previous performance with you for a minute, Hen, actually, because I was buoyed by it, mate. I was loving what I was seeing. It was attacking. It seems like Ollie Solskjaer's suddenly gone, do you know what?
I saw
when we're
it.
coming up against lesser teams, at home in particular, we're just going to attack the shite out of them. And that's basically what we did. We created chances. I was loving the youngsters. I believe I'm right in saying it was the youngest selected side in the Premier League this season by anyone. So it goes to show you the youth opportunities that were on display there. Brandon Williams starting at left back. I was so happy about that. He didn't play in the Europa League game, but he started at left back, and he was arguably our best player that day. You know, young lad, looking fantastic, and a good run. He looks solid, looks better than Luke Shaw, better than Ashley Young already. So I'm so happy about getting
all day long. He stuck out for me. I mean, that was your best performance since your opening game of the season. That's how I felt. You know, in terms of the way that you just came out, guns blazing. You know, put 2 goals away very early on against Brighton. Brighton didn't even know what hit them. I think they were expecting a United of how United's been this season, which has been, you know, not too sure of themselves. And suddenly you look absolutely sure of yourself in the same way you did on the first game of the season against Lampard's Chelsea. So, you know, I'd be loving it. I mean, I missed your game against Norwich, but was that not that was the game before Bournemouth, was it not? So you lost to Bournemouth, but you beat Norwich the week before. Is that right? I think. I mean, that proper.
I've got such a bad memory. Norwich, this is the thing. Like,
right, I think I'm right. So I think you beat Norwich and then you lost to Bournemouth. But I think, you know, Norwich.
You definitely lost 1-0 to Bournemouth. Yeah.
You done well against Norwich, you know, but end of the day, they are doing absolutely shite right now. You play against Bournemouth, very disappointing, and then to come up against Brighton, who've done well this season. That was a great game for you. You looked solid.
Yeah, and to be fair to Brighton, like, they have obviously come up from the Championship, and on paper we're much better, but they're actually higher than us in the league before we beat them. So, you know, they've not been a bad outfit this season. And
but they haven't come up. They haven't come up for the Championship anytime recently, mate. Have they?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean? What do I mean? Yeah, they were in the Premier League last season.
Well, but they've come up over the last, you know, couple of years. They weren't in it a few years ago, so you're having a mare, mate.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying they've come up from.
They're not fresh in, are they? They're not fresh in.
Well,
they've had a couple of years.
I think of Brighton as a Championship side. I'm just saying that's the point I'm making. Like, they're doing well. They've had a good start to the season, even with that loss to United. So they're in a good position. But yeah, Brighton. Brighton. That's a good win, but the performance from United was great. It was nice to see Martial up there, pulling the strings up top there and creating lots of chances for his teammates. Rashford was very good, a bit wasteful with some of his opportunities, but brilliant performance all round. I just love to see that from Rashford, just the sheer pace he's got, the overlapping runs he does with Martial, pulling the defence apart. You know, we don't know what's going on there, crossing over, and it really does cause all sorts of problems for the opposition. And as long as Solskjaer plays that style of football and does put the faith in the youth like he did do in that game, because it's nice to see that. You know, Pereira, I'd much rather see Pereira, even though Pereira's not blown me away this season. I'd much rather see him than Lingard or even Mata. You know, and I love Mata just because it shows the fans that he is giving opportunities to the youth and trying to build this squad back up. That's what he needs to do. But there's really great optimistic signs there again at United. We've got a great left back in Brandon Williams. We've got a great right back in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You know, there's still some question marks over our centre backs, I suppose, but we've still got some other players to come back into it. Even Fred looked good in that game, which is great to see. I hope to see more from that from Fred. He was actually splitting the opposition open, which we haven't barely seen him do that. McTominay's solid. He looks like a really great United player, plays with his heart on his sleeve, but he's picked up an injury. It remains to be seen how long that'll be out for. Could be a big loss for us. But yeah, I'm looking at the side. Daniel James, young whippersnapper. Rashford, 21 still. Oh my days. Like, over the next few years, these players are going to improve significantly. So yeah, we didn't.
Well, that seems like a partnership for you now. Like Fred with McTominay seems. I've seen that a few times now from Solskjaer's selection. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, Rashford and McTominay and Fred, you mean? Yeah, he's played them consistently in a few games now, probably 4 or 5 league games, I think, in a row that McTominay and Fred have started. Now, Pogba's been injured, which, you know, you could say that if he comes back into it, he will upset. It will upset what progression has taken place there, because maybe he'll be put in there.
Forgotten about him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I people hate to hear me banging on about it. I know there's a very split audience when it comes to people who rate Paul Pogba for United, but I hope he doesn't come back into it. I think McTominay and Fred can do the job now. Maybe we should sign another player. There's lots to talk about, Ndidi. I think that's the sort of player we should sign in that position to maybe replace Fred, but Fred's still got an opportunity to prove that he can be a United player. But yeah, for me, Pogba, maybe his best position is in behind the striker, and I would actually like to see him played there when he comes back into it. I don't want to see him played where McTominay or Fred is at the moment, because he's just useless there. But sure, if he can have an opportunity at CAM, do the business there, that makes the most sense to me, because it's maybe the area where we don't have a top quality player in. Pereira had a good game the other day, and he is decent, but I'm not quite sure if he's ready yet, or if it ever really truly will be consistently. Then Gomez and Chong, they're great young players, but Solskjaer in that position seems to favour, he'd even rather play Lingard or Mata there than those guys at the moment, so it doesn't seem that realistic. Pogba's position would be there in the United side, if there's a place for him. But my personal opinion on it, and it's going to annoy a few people again, but just sell him. Get him sold in January. Sell him to Real, sell him to Juventus, whatever it may be, 100 million, thank you very much. Go out there, reinvest it in some other quality players, like I said, Ndidi, Maddison. You might be able to get Ndidi and Maddison for the price of Paul Pogba, depending on how much you can generate for him, because he's this big global brand, you know what I mean? And those are the types of players I'd rather see representing United and playing for us and improving, and they're young lads and they can get better, rather than Paul Pogba, who we've seen a lot in a United shirt, and he's just pretty much lackluster. That's the word I would use to describe Paul Pogba in a United shirt. Not for France, not for Juventus, but for Man United. Lackluster over the course of his career. Sure, there's the odd good game here and there, but few and far between.
From a neutral standpoint, you certainly look, and part of the pun, you certainly look far more united without him. I always felt like there was he's one of these players where, you're not sure where to play him, you're not sure what to do with him. Do we need to keep him happy? Does he need his makeup and hair doing before every game, and that nobody's allowed to comment on his hairstyle, etc.? He's just like an absolute diva. It's like you got Whitney Houston or something playing for your team. It's like, God bless Whitney Houston, love her. What a great artist. Just to let you know, no disrespect to her at all by what I just said. But, since Pogba's been injured, what's wrong with him?
I don't know, he had his leg in a cast, done his foot or his ankle. I think it was his ankle. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you look better. I feel like there was almost this kind of like unwritten burden or unspoken about burden at Manchester United that's almost been lifted by not having Pogba fit. Honestly, I think he's the one player in Manchester United where it gives the manager a headache. I think it's easier for Ollie just to crack on with what he wants to do without having to worry about what he's going to do with Paul Pogba. I think that I've got, I've just said what I've just said, and I'm remembering what I just said, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's right, Henry Hotspur, that is true. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to hear that from a neutral. I mean, for Pogba and Fred, for instance, Pogba on paper is a way better player, but if you actually look at what's been done over the course of this season, forget previous seasons, but this season, there's not really much to choose between them. And considering Fred's been quite poor overall, it goes to tell the story of what Pogba's been like this season too.
But Fred slotted in absolutely fine. He doesn't have an ego. He doesn't have like a blonde bit through his hair. I feel like Fred has actually taken the opportunity to be in the team these last couple of games, slotted in next to McTominay, and actually looked absolutely fine and looked
he did in the Brighton game.
Like suddenly Fred is kind of like part of the side there all day long.
Yeah, so I like what Solskjaer's done with Fred these last 5 or 6 games. Maybe it is out of necessity because of the Pogba injury, but there's never really been a fair chance given to Fred in his United career. Jose signed him for 56 million, didn't really see him for a long time. He's been used here and there. This is his first, as far as I can remember, his first real run in the side, like 5 or 6 games on the trot type thing. And he's doing well. He's looking better. He's improving. You can see the relationship, the partnership with McTominay.
It's noticeable for me. It was.
Yeah, you can see that relationship's noticeably improving. And it's great to see. And sure, I want to see Fred be a success at United. I want to see Pogba be a success at United. But the there's only so much time I can give these players for them to actually perform before I get pissed off and think, do you know what, we could do better with somebody else. I just want to read out a couple of comments here. Mo Wadder comments, shout out to you, mate. Comments 50 goals, contributions in 100 games from midfield for United. I mean, statistically, you know, from what if you're talking about what Paul Pogba's done stats wise, it doesn't look bad at all. Last season his stats were glowing. There were a lot of penalties though. I admit that he does create decent chances for United over the years, but you know, they've got to convert to goals. You've got to, and I know you can say, well, the striker's got to finish them off or whatever, but the quality of the assist also does make a difference. Look, some of the assists that he pulls off, look, this season he did 2 amazing assists against Chelsea on the first day of the season, and then we've seen nothing from him since. He has spits and spurts. There may be a game where he contributes 3 or 4 goals to the side and we rip an opposition open, but then he goes missing for a few weeks in a row. So stats only tell a certain story, I think. But yeah, stats-wise,
you certainly looked more confident, comfortable and sensible without him. That's all I can say. It's almost like, I'll say it again, you know, a lot of it does come from the energy and the positivity that's coming from the manager. I feel like, to be fair, Ollie is kind of new to managing big egos. Of course he is. You know, yes, he's played with big egos. Yes, he's managed teams like Cardiff, etc. But when it comes to actually managing a player that is supposedly a top player, that's like a World Cup winner, you know, it's new for him. And I think without Pogba in the team right now, Ollie's more comfortable, and you can see it. You can see it on the players, faces. You know, I watched United against Brighton the other day. I know it's one game. I know you lost to Bournemouth the game before, but the performances, whether they've been a little bit lackluster here and there, you are building up a consistency. If you lose by 1 goal. You know, sometimes you find it difficult to hit the back of the net. Is kind of your issue. Yeah. But if you do score, you're looking half solid at the moment. You know, I can't remember the last time you were destroyed. It's not like Tottenham Hotspur where we're getting done 7 goals by Bayern Munich, or we lose. You know, do you know what I mean? Unable to find a win in 5-6 games on the trot. You know, it's a very different set of circumstances right now for United to Spurs.
I agree, yeah. I mean, Gungshi comments, Pogba will do better if he's played in a CAM position, especially with Fred and McTominay improving. Well, I can't really deny that. But you know what, Gungshi? Like, we have seen Paul Pogba perform there in the past, but we've also seen him have lackluster performances in that position for United too. I do think that's his best position for United. I don't think he likes the defensive aspects of being a midfielder. I don't think he likes tracking back. I don't think he's really got that attitude of I'm going to fling myself in there and put my body on the line, you know, somebody like a McTominay might have. He doesn't have that sort of mentality. So I think his best position is in an attacking, creative position in front of the 2-man midfielder. I'd fully agree with that, Gungers. But then, you know, it's like we have to justify his place in the team. If Solskjaer's going to put him there, he's going to have to instantly justify his place in the team. Because otherwise you're holding Pereira back, otherwise you're holding Gomez and Chong back and these other lads and Juan Mata and other guys that could play in that position. So Pogba's going to have to, when he does come back, and if he is played there, he's going to have to take that opportunity and run with it. But I think the realism of him leaving the club in January is actually pretty strong. I think if there's one player that's going to leave Manchester United in the January transfer window, it'll probably be him. I mean, I heard something about Matic today, maybe a move to Serie A because he's not been playing recently and he's just shite, isn't he? So maybe him too. But yeah, I think United's biggest problem area is our midfield. We could do with improving a bit, and we could do with getting rid of the dead wood. Thank you very much for your comment, Gungshi. I just want to talk about a point with the viewers here and get your thoughts on it as well, Henry, because I saw an article on Sky Sports earlier, which I read it, thought it was quite interesting. Victor Lindelof was having a interview with the Swedish press, or a Swedish magazine or a newspaper or something, and they asked him about Jose Mourinho, and he said that Jose is a great guy and he's a great football person, and he really misses him from the footballing world. Like, he thinks the footballing world is a much worse place without Jose Mourinho in the game, because he's such a big personality, such a great coach, manager, all this good stuff. And I wanted to see your thoughts and the fans' thoughts on Mourinho. Do you miss Jose Mourinho from professional football at the moment? Do you know what I mean? Or are you loving his punditry?
So, you know, absolutely big fat yes. Of course I miss Jose Mourinho. Tell you what, I watched the game between Manchester City and Liverpool the other day. Did you see the game? Did you see City Liverpool?
Just saw the highlights. Yeah, just saw the highlights. So
you saw the highlights. So I was lucky enough to watch the whole game. Brilliant game, probably the most entertaining game I've seen all season in terms of just seeing quality on the pitch. Like they let's be honest, absolutely brilliant teams at the moment, brilliant managers, and just half the entertainment is just seeing how the managers react to decisions made, etc. The way that they're so animated. And, you want to be seeing Jose Mourinho involved, up against Klopp, up against Pep Guardiola. I mean, these are the managers that I love and respect. And, I want to see more of it. At the moment, we are, in terms of top managers of that kind of ilk. I know Klopp hasn't won so much. He's won a little bit. Guardiola's won a fair bit, but certainly Mourinho deserves to be playing against that sort of caliber of manager in the Premier League still. Whether that's going to be Tottenham Hotspur if Poch doesn't work out, whether that's going to be Arsenal, because I think Unai Emery is actually top in terms of bookies' favourites to be the next manager out, I'll have you believe, because I think he's had his time. Alex Rudd may have something to say on that. I think we've spoken about this previously, Alex, that it's on the cards. Unai might be on his way out at some point. If he has a couple more bad results with Arsenal,
well, there's a couple of Premier League options for Jose, isn't there? Like, if of course Bayern Munich job's available, but there's a couple of Premier League options if he just bides his time a little bit, because like you say, Pochettino could be on the way out. It's possible. I mean, maybe not for a couple of months, but that could happen. Unai Emery at Arsenal, that's another opportunity. I don't know if Arsenal fans would want Mourinho at the club. Let me know what you think, Alex. I don't know anybody else who's an Arsenal fan who's watching this.
Yeah, very interesting. I'd love to know what.
And also Everton. Maybe if Everton, that would be a good job for Jose Mourinho right now. Because let's say, Everton sack the manager. Jose Mourinho's going to come in to a club that is a bigger club than where it currently is. That doesn't. Okay, it's maybe not the type of club Jose would usually go for because he likes to spend money.
I don't think he'd go there.
But it's an opportunity to prove himself as a manager again. If he could get them back in the top 7, that would show.
But I don't. I think Jose's got too much of a big ego for that. Even now, after you would have thought he might have been a little bit humbled after the United experience, after the Chelsea experience. Where things just, he's been devastated by the media. Let's be honest. Whether that was warranted or not, he's been devastated. So for him to go to a club like Everton, I think that would take balls. I would respect him, but I don't see it. I mean, Arsenal or maybe Tottenham, possibly, and it would be fascinating.
Yeah,
absolutely fascinating if he went to either of them North London clubs. Of course, it would be.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed opinion in the comment section. Viking Red says no. James Moscrop, no. Mo Wada says Jose's the ultimate troll. Doesn't miss him except for Arsenal fans. Yeah, I mean it's kind of mixed. I do think that Mourinho should get back into football management. He's wasted. He's wasted doing what he's doing right now. He is a great coach. He is a big personality. He does cause controversy. He makes headlines. He does great interviews post match, all that sort of stuff. I think he's a great element to professional football. Love him or hate him. Do you know what I mean? Whether he's playing that, that character of you freaking, what's the word, mate? Whether he's the hero or the villain, everybody loves him.
No, I don't know why he's getting so much hate. It's almost like he's like the Donald Trump of football or something, isn't it? It's like, come on, give the guy a break. He's won the Champions League with 3 teams from 3 different major leagues in the world of football. Yeah. I mean, has anyone else even fucking done that? For a start, I'm just going to stick up for Jose here. I know is the way he plays football is disgusting at times, and the epitome of frustration as a fan. And I'm not even saying I want him at Tottenham. No way. I don't really want him at Tottenham. But I want to see him in football, and I'd love to see him in the Premier League again because, it just adds a different element of the way the game is played. And to have Jose with a team that is set up in a Jose way reminds everybody that there's different ways to play football, and it gets us talking. That's the important thing. You don't want it to Manchester United. I don't want it at Tottenham Hotspur, but I'd love to see it at Arsenal.
He's a great coach. Tactically, he's a great coach. Like to win some of the stuff he's won with some of the teams he's got. It's all well and good to win, the Premier League with Chelsea. Well, actually, it's not well and good. When you think about Chelsea, when he came, just look at his achievements. Chelsea came in there, okay, they had a great squad, lots of money, but he did overthrow United for a while. He did overthrow Arsenal, and then he's gone over to Spain, and he's actually managed to win the league with record points with Real Madrid, up against what many would consider one of the best teams ever, with that era, that Barcelona side, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, that amazing team, best era of Barcelona that there's been. And he managed to win the league against them. Okay, Barcelona dominated it for the other years, but this is the greatest Barcelona side ever, pretty much. So Jose did a great job there. He won the Champions League with Inter, did the treble with Inter, actually, and Inter's team was good, but he's got players like Luciao and stuff like that at the back, and it's not like one of the greatest teams ever, but he got them to win it. Just tactically got them to win it, motivationally got them to win it. He won the Champions League with Porto, FC Porto. They did have a good team, but it's not like they got the best team in the competition. Did an amazing job with them tactically as well. So he's a great tactician, no doubt about it. I'd like to see him back in football management. I'd, like you, Henry, most like to see him at Arsenal, but I don't think that's going to happen, But actually, Matt Lewis comments and said, my dad reckons Mourinho is going to take the Everton job because they've got loads of money now, new ground on the way. So you never know. Maybe they are looking to push on and get somebody of Jose's ilk. And there's been instances in the past. Look at Rafa Benitez. He went and took the Newcastle job. You wouldn't necessarily think somebody like that would take such a job, but he did. So
that's true, but Rafa's a very different kind of man to Jose. I mean, I think Rafa genuinely likes the challenge sometimes. Fair enough to him. And I don't know what Rafa's doing now. Let us know. I mean, I haven't been following Rafa. I'm a massive Rafa fan. Jose going to Everton, very interesting. We all know that Everton definitely like to put a hand to cock and think about top end managers. That is so true. I mean, they've had. It's so true. I mean, Marco Silva, they literally wanked over him for a good half season. They finally got their man. And, he's been doing shite. But to be fair to him, he won the last game. He's got Richarlison, I'm literally just talking about Everton's last game. Richarlison scores. He's played a better game. I mean, that was key for Everton because he is their best player. So, it's all to play for. We'll have to see. Has Marco Silva got the balls? Is he going to make it happen? If not, then who knows? You might be seeing Mourinho at Everton, and what a coup that would be.
It definitely would be, mate. Great comments coming in on the live chat. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. If you are in here, do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on it. Maybe even give it a share on social media. It'd help us out, get a couple more ears on the podcast here. But thanks to each and every one of you that's stopping by right now on the show. Alex Rudd comments Rafa for Arsenal. So he'd actually like Rafa Benitez to go to Arsenal. Lots of wind noise, by the way, Henry Hotspur. Anything we can do about this, mate?
I've just changed my direction. I know the wind is coming through. Fair play to you, Rudd. Yeah. Benitez at Arsenal. I mean, I like Benitez. I'd have him at Tottenham in a split second if Poch randomly up and left, let's say. Benitez is a top manager.
Fair play. James Alori comments LVG is an underrated coach. Retro Tech comments Rooney rated Van Gaal as the best. I mean, look, if you look at what he did previously...
Fuck that. Fuck Van Gaal.
Look, not for United. Look, if I look back on those days of Louis van Gaal when he was United manager, the football we played, oh my days, it was disgusting. It was so slow and defensive and awful. And oh my God, no. I couldn't go back to that.
My opinion is Van Gaal did not have a clue when it came to Premier League football. And I think he's past it. I think in terms of, don't get me wrong, he's done a brilliant job at Bayern Munich back in the day. But I think coming to the Premier League is a different game in the Premier League. And honestly, he's too old school. He's lost it. I would not have him at Spurs. I'm not an LVG fan. No way.
No, LVG's a melter. He's a Dutch toad. I'm so glad he's not United's manager anymore. I'd rather
have David Moyes.
Well, I don't know about that. That's a bit crazy, mate. But
let's talk about Moyes going back to Everton.
Is there really?
Honestly, he's waiting. The Goblin, the Ginger Goblin. he's in his little goblin cave, and he's waiting to jump out of it as soon as Marco Silva is no longer the first thumbnail on the porn site for Everton. Simple as that.
Well, listen, David Moyes, it's like going back and having a rinse off over one of your past girlfriends, is it? What they're doing at the moment?
Exactly. That is Everton. They are so sexually motivated. Honestly, that fucking Ken Wright.
Well, they do call them the toffees for a good reason, mate. They like to get sticky. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, look, messed up. Look, David Moyes back to Everton. Could it happen? That's an interesting point you bring up there, Henry. I've never even contemplated that. I guess if you look at what he did at Everton,
no, Moyes is waiting, mate. He's waiting for the ring, mate. Always had them, that little ginger golem or whatever.
He always had them like top 6, top 7, consistently performing well. Like that's why United got him as manager, because he showed good stuff with Everton. And they were always a great outfit, consistently up there with him. Since post Moyes days, it's really been a downhill drop off for them. Would they want to go back there though? He betrayed them. He left them, mate. In hindsight, I think it's fair to say everybody would agree David Moyes should have never left Everton. Apart from a financial gain, it's been nothing but have his name dragged through the mud from pillar to post basically since then. He had a mare at United. Did he manage Celta Vigo and have a nightmare there too, or some Spanish side? No, it was.
Moyes is done. If he wants to get back in the game, he could go to a championship side and bring him up. That's what he has to do. If he wants to prove himself again, he has to do that. I don't think he deserves a Premier League role. He's been out of the game too long, and he's
man, he was
any
hated,
job he's had
though,
recently has been a failure. He did well at Everton, but he stuck to one club. You cannot. No, I mean, Moyes. Go to I don't know, Preston North End or some shit.
It's funny because Moyes was so hated by the United fan base. Like, I don't really truly know why. Like, even in hindsight, like LVG, Mourinho, nobody disliked any manager of United since Fergie more than David Moyes. Is it his face? I don't know what it was, but something about David Moyes just rubs people up the wrong way, man. Fair play. Interesting topic, though. Mourinho back, maybe David Moyes back, fighting it out in the old metaphorical celebrity death match for the job, for the number one hotspot seat at the hot seat at Everton. I'd like to see Jose get the job. That would be fantastic. Right, we're approaching about an hour in the show, nearly at an hour. Have you got anything else football-related you want to discuss here, Henry?
No, not so much. Let's just crack on with the segments, mate.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, fantastic. Right, let's get into the next part of the show then, lads and lasses. Thanks to everybody who's stopping by. Smash a like on it, all that good stuff. Thanks for being with us today. Okay, let's get on to it then. I'm going to play the theme music. Boom. Pig and Hen's melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment. What a melter. That's right, lads and lasses. It's time for this week's melter of the moment. Gungshi's just spelled it out here as an acronym. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's put MOTM. Man of the match. It's not man of the match, though, is it? It's great. I see what you're saying here, Gungshi. Melter of the moment. It's just a happy coincidence. Happens to be the same abbreviation or whatever as man of the match, but it's not man of the match. It's melter of the moment. So we're on to it now. Melter of the moment. I'm going to go first on this one, Henry. And I've got to be honest now, I've struggled somewhat to get my melter of the moment this week, and I haven't put maybe as much thought into it as I should have done. But my melter of the moment...
Is it a person or an inanimate thing?
This is a person, right? This is a person. So it is Raheem Sterling, right? I'm going to put my melter of the moment on Raheem Sterling. And I don't really know the ins and outs of what's gone on, but I'll explain my reasons why. So Raheem Sterling is actually not going to be playing in the game tomorrow night against Montenegro. He's been sidelined because Gareth Southgate has basically withdrawn him from playing in that game due to a bust-up he's had at St George's Park with Joe Gomez, obviously Liverpool player. They played the day before the England side met up. They beat them 3-1. There's a lot of bad blood there, obviously, hanging over. But look, all I would say is I don't know what's been said. I don't know how much of a twat Joe Gomez is. But basically, He's probably just done what me and you would do, Henry, if we went bumped into each other at work the next day or what, and I've just gone 3-1, 3-1, you know, beat you 3. I don't really know what's going on here, but all I'm saying is Raheem Sterling now, 24 years old. Come on, son. You got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take up the chin. There's always been rivalries.
Well, because he's
football.
24 years old. How old are you?
I don't. Nobody needs to know my age, mate. I'm just saying he's a 24-year-old experienced footballer now. Do you know what I mean?
But you made out like, oh, he's 24 years old, so he should know what he's doing. Come on, that's
he
a
should.
bit
He's
harsh,
a top
mate.
player.
Considering
he's a top player
you're
in the Premier
elder.
League. Okay, but it's different
regardless
in footballing
of how,
years.
you know, how much money you make, regardless of whether you're a top player or not. He's still a young lad,
he's in the middle of his footballing career. Do you know what I'm saying?
Is he not?
He's older in his football career than we are in our professional career. So, you know, it doesn't stand up the same, Henry.
So what's that got to do with?
Because he's an experienced player. He's been in the hot seat since he's been about 17, mate. This lad, so he's experienced. All I'm saying is he should know.
Yeah, but
hang on
a
a second, Henry. You let me finish. He should be able to.
He punched Gomez in the face?
I don't know what's happened. There's been an altercation, a physical altercation, and Joe Gomez has a scratch under his eye, right? Okay, so there's obviously been some sort of bust up, some sort of some heave ho. I don't know. Maybe a strike was landed. What I'm saying is there must be a good reason for Gareth Southgate to drop him from the squad entirely or from the game and say he's not starting. He's not saying it's 50-50. If they'd have buried the hatchet, whatever, you know, it must be Sterling's fault. That's what I'm getting from this. So I'm saying maybe he should learn to man up a little bit. Maybe he shouldn't be so reactive. Maybe he shouldn't be so easily wound up by somebody who, you know, okay, it's the club he used to play for as well, and they beat them 3-1, and they're massively at the top of the table compared to them, and all this stuff. And he doesn't like it. But just learn to be a bit of a better winner. Learn to be a bit more professional, Raheem. That's what I'm saying, okay? Now, you might say 24 is not old enough, but at 24, okay. I was not slapping people for taking the piss out of a result where we lost a game of football against them. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, you have not changed at all since you were 24. So, you know, I understand where you're coming from.
There you go. Yeah, no progression has taken place. So, you know, it's yeah, but that's what I mean. And at that age, I wouldn't have done that. So I just think I mean, I don't know what's gone on. Maybe Joe Gomez has properly wound him up there. But you'd think if there was a justified cause for the reaction from Sterling, then they'd have both been punished, or Southgate would have done it all behind closed doors. You know, it's another possibility that Southgate's the melter of the moment, actually, Hen, for not keeping this behind closed doors.
Well, this is it. Well, I'll tell you who agrees with Southgate being the melter of the moment. I actually had a little chat with my friend. He used to be a defender for Manchester United and England. So I got on the blower with him earlier, but it's none other than Rio Ferdinand, right?
Oh,
we had a little chat, you know, because he's got a lot of time for Henry Hotspur as Rio, but you know, he told me directly that he thinks Southgate's handled this wrong, and you could check this. You know, he's come out with a public statement. He didn't
I saw
just
it
tell
actually.
Me personally.
Yeah.
He's actually come out with an article here, saying, or not an article. That this is what he's been telling people. But yeah, I mean, Southgate has been the best manager that England's had for a long time in terms of man management, and he thinks Southgate's got this one wrong. That's what old Rio thinks. So you're disagreeing with your veteran legend.
No, before you cut in there, I was about to say that Gareth Southgate may be the melter of the moment, because what I was actually about to say is regardless of what's happened behind closed doors there, it was behind closed doors. Like, let's leave it there. There's no need to actually bring this up. All it's done is put a mark on Sterling, and it's not good for the camaraderie of the England squad behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean? If you've got all this. It's like this sort of stuff, in my opinion, should be dealt with internally. I fully agree with Rio Ferdinand on that, to be fair, but there must be a big reason why Southgate's chosen to do this. It must have been a big, I don't know, like an altercation, and there's this sort of power struggle going on there, because obviously Sterling's just lost against them, and he's tried to make an example out of England's best player, pretty much, or one of England's best player here, by doing that. So it's a strong statement by Southgate to not deal with it internally behind closed doors. I think he's had a mare, actually. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to change my melter of the moment to Gareth Southgate, because, yeah, Raheem Sterling's a melt job. No, he is a melt job for doing this, but we don't really know what's gone on. It could just be a bit of handbags. Joe Gomez has given him a bit of banter. Sure, he should deal with it better. He's given him a slap. Whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? But we don't need to know about it. We don't need to feed the media. We don't need to make this whole big deal out of it. Why not just not play Sterling, or whoever the main culprit is, and just deal with it internally, and not actually put it out there in the media. So yeah, they've had.
I don't think you're allowed to change You're not allowed to change your melter of the moment. I think you could have a joint melter of the moment between Sterling and Southgate because you do not know the intricacies of what's going on. So it's kind of your melter of the moment is that particular situation. That's what you're trying to say, Pig, is it not?
Well, I like to put it on as a person, so I'm going to say Raheem Sterling / Gareth Southgate for that whole. But if you want to say the incident is the melter of the moment, that's fine, but it doesn't really work. That would be.
That's not my melter of the moment, but I'm just trying to help you out.
That would be the
Pig,
moment of the melter. Do you know what I mean? Not the melter of the moment. So
you're trying to serve us pig bacon and you're trying to serve us pig sausages. You sided with one of them, haven't you?
I don't know. I've got to also think about the vegans in the crowd, mate, and serve them some vegan sausages too. That's where you come in.
That's where I come in.
So come on then, Henry. Who's your... Actually, just before we get onto yours, She's just super chatted in. Thank you, Gungers, with his thoughts on the situation. He says, Southgate always looks like a melter in that waistcoat. He does look like he's just prepared like a... Yeah. He's just about to deliver your 3-course meal to you at a 5-star restaurant or something, doesn't he?
That's it. Mate, he can never be... He's only ever been the melter of the moment when he missed that penalty in '96.
He was the melter of the year after that one, yeah.
He's just been the melter of all time, has he not?
He's actually known, he is a proper melter, isn't he? He's not just the melter of the moment, like you say. He is the melter, he's the melter of the millennium.
How could he ever be the melter of this moment? Because he's had another moment where he was definitely the melter.
Yeah, you can't be the melter of the moment when you're already the melter of the millennium, can you? Do you know what I mean? Like, he even did a Pizza Hut advert where he's wearing a fucking brown paper bag on his head in public with Stuart Pearce, and somebody comes up and
now he's managing our team.
I know, he eats a piece of freaking pizza and then he takes the bag off his head and he says, "Oh well, yeah, I feel much better now, lads." You're a melter, Gareth. Do you know what I mean?
Cheese melter.
Profiting financially off of England's misery as well. Oh,
a mozzarella melter.
Do you know what? Sack him. I don't care if he's been England's best manager for a long time. Sack him.
I know, so it's completely unacceptable. Dear. You're absolutely right. But then again, Sterling's been a melter when he's been inhaling helium or some shit.
I can't really...
like on the gas.
I can't really...
Sterling's been on the gas before, isn't he?
I know, but come on, lots of young lads do that in a club or whatever. What is it, nitrous oxide? I don't even know. People hand it out in balloons.
Nitrous oxide, that's it. That's. I mean, maybe it makes you a good footballer.
It's not like he's on crack, actually, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Kids listening to this right now, I'll take back what I said. Do not do that shite.
So there we have it. That's my melter at the moment. Anyway, what's yours, Henry? I can actually guess. Do you want me to guess?
You won't get it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I was going to say you were going to nominate VAR as the melter again, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Well, you're kind of actually half right.
Right.
But it's more specific than that.
Okay, go for it.
I need the theme tune.
Right,
do you know what I mean?
Well, you know, some people don't like it being played twice. They're like, why are you playing it twice? But I'm going to play it again.
I don't care, mate. Well, you're not having it. I want it.
Okay, ready? Pig and Hen's melter of the moment. The pig and the hen's melter of the moment. What's a melter? Over to you, Henry.
Okay. My melter of the moment, and this is warranted, lads and lasses, is VAR, but it is specifically VAR decisions on offsides. Specifically, when there's a goal scored, you get a celebration, suddenly there's a VAR decision, and they're looking at the offside. I'm talking specifically, and I'm using that word again specifically because it's a great word, Sheffield United, Tottenham Hotspur, Sheffield United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The last game where I've already said this evening, Sheffield United deserved to win. They had two decisions. One was actually ruled as an offside. The other was given as a goal. Both decisions took, well over a minute, if not 2 minutes, for each decision to be made. And it's absolutely ridiculous. You're watching it on TV, and they've got the lines out, and they're trying to check if there's a toe or an inkling of a foreskin or a fucking eyebrow or, a tongue piercing that's just potentially hanging off, that is either indicating offside or not. And it's an absolute fucking joke. It's like, we are not talking about the 100 meters for the gold medal of the fucking Olympics here. We're just talking about a simple offside in a Premier League match. the referee and the linesman make the decision. Of course, if it's obviously offside or if it's obviously onside, VAR looks at it, tells the referee, you've got this one wrong. Happy days. Decision should be like that. At the same speed, I've just clicked my thumb and my fucking middle finger together to make a clicking noise. That decision should be made. But no. The players celebrate the goal. The crowd celebrates the goal. It's almost like they know that they should celebrate, and then they kind of stop celebrating and think, oh, fuck, it's a VAR decision. Like it always is these days. You can almost see the players have started to get used to it. It's like, right, we're just going to sort of wait around now. We just hope that the celebration was worth it. And then the VAR decision on the fucking offside, it's taking time. It's taking 2 minutes plus. And, I'll go back. It's literally 100 meters for an Olympic gold medal. Was Usain Bolt's fucking foreskin over the line or not, compared to that other coke smoking prick that it was up against a few years ago? That is, that is what we're looking at right now, mate, and it pisses me the hell off. That is my melter at the moment.
Fair play. And I have to respect that, Hen. I think VAR in general, but yeah, the offsides. And another thing, it's like sometimes they look at it and they look at it and it's like the leg's clearly offside on one of them, they give the goal. Another one they don't give. It's like, hang on, it's actually worse than it used to be now. You're just taking all accountability from the actual officiating team on the pitch there and giving it to some other twats who don't know their ass from their elbow, it seems. So yeah, there are some definite issues, aside from the fact that it just slows everything down so much and there's minutes between decisions being made, which is just completely unacceptable. It's just VAR shit this season, mate. They need to change, make some serious revisions. There needs to be clear, like really clear incidences where it's dealt with, and other times just let people crack on. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I'm not a massive fan of Gary Lineker, politically and just in general. I think, even despite the fact that he was a bit of a Spurs,
he's a dude, isn't
he? He's a bit of a dude, but there's a lot of things that he does and says that I don't agree with. I'll be honest with you, but fair enough to the guy. I still respect the guy, okay? But there's one thing that he said on Match of the Day the other day that I completely agreed with. And actually, when it comes to VAR decisions, if they cannot come up with a decision, there should be a time limit on it. If they cannot come up with a clear decision within a minute, it should just go down to a referee decision, because I am sick. I am absolutely sick of waiting around for these decisions when it's approaching 2 minutes and everyone's stood around, waiting around, not knowing what the fuck's going on. End of the day, you wait. It's just been, God bless the people that fought in the war. It's just been Remembrance Day for anyone that's British that understands what Poppy Day is about. It's traditional to have a minute silence, but you're having games there where VAR decisions are going on longer than the 1 minute silence. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. That is too much of a long wait for a decision in a game. You know what I mean? It is ridiculous.
100% agree, mate. They've got to do something about it. They need to definitely have a look at it, because whatever they're doing right now just doesn't actually benefit us in any way. It seems worse than it was last year without VAR, so they're going to have to make some serious revisions. I'm sure that they will. Just want to read this comment from Eddie Otto, who comments, LOL, Hen went in hard on Gatlin, calling him a coke smoker. Justin Gatlin, that's the one, eh?
Gatlin, what? Justin Gatlin, that's it. That's that prick, that's it.
But anyway, yeah, fair play. Just on bad decisions, actually, Hen. I know it's probably not really in your wheelhouse, man, but I don't know if you've seen it or not, but did you watch the KSI Logan Paul fight?
I didn't watch it. I know who won it.
Yeah. That was a bit of a shit show, to be fair, mate. Like it was.
Was it good? Was it more entertaining than Conor McGregor versus
Khabib?
What's his name? No. Conor McGregor boxing against
Floyd
Mayweather.
It probably was more entertaining than that, to be perfectly honest.
Was it more entertaining?
It probably
than
was,
that,
but it wasn't much entertaining. Only because you knew with the McGregor-Mayweather fight, Mayweather's just going to toy with him and then put it into the later
I know,
rounds.
but yeah, Mayweather's a professional. Yeah, exactly. Despite his age now, he still knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, did Logan Paul and KSI look like they trained? Did they look like they actually kind of knew what they were doing in there?
To a degree, they've definitely been training boxing for a year or two. You can see that they were both physically in the best shape they've both ever been, and they came out and they did all right. But I mean, yeah, it was kind of a strange one. KSI was just sort of winging haymakers over the top most of the time, going in for much the aggressive fighter. Logan Paul was just trying to get him with his jab, never really let his hands go at any one point. Did catch him with a nice uppercut, but he put KSI down, and there was an illegal punch behind the head and an illegal punch on the floor while KSI's on the floor, right? So he had 2 points deducted from him during that incident. 2 points deducted by the referee, which seemed a bit strong for me. It wasn't like, it sounds much worse than it is. Just a little love tap, basically, and he's taken 2 points off him, which ultimately led to KSI winning the fight by a point. So if he'd have had 1 point taken off of him, which should have been the correct decision, really, then it would have been another draw. So there's a little bit of controversy with this one. Maybe it's a fix. Maybe they just needed to have a winner this time. I don't really know what it was, but the referee had a bit of a mare. But yeah, it was an okay. It was like I've seen worse professional boxing fights, to be fair. But yeah, technically they.
So when are we gonna have Flying Pig United versus Mark Goldbridge? Is that happening? Is that on
I think it would have to be a 2-on-1 handicap, mate. Me versus Goldbridge and Flex. Otherwise, it's just going to be a murder.
So what do you mean 2-on-1 handicap? What you want me to do? Me and Goldbridge versus
I'll tell you what, you and Goldbridge, that's actually one that I'd pay to see, mate. Do you know what I mean? I think that could be...
me versus Goldbridge.
That could be an even affair, do you know what I mean?
Goldbridge.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have, but he's too big for me. Who am I? Do you know what I mean?
I'm just
a fucking sidekick on the Pig in the Head show. Nothing, mate.
Anyway, I very much doubt that Goldbridge would be interested in having a freaking boxing match against the Flying Pig. Also, just for the fact that their channel is absolutely massive, and what the fuck, it's not going to benefit them in any way. And that's all those.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we got any listeners tonight that want to start some kind of petition, get it out there. Why not? I'd love to see. Thing is, Goldbridge would have to, big up, wouldn't he? He'd have to work
it's not
on the
Mark
the weight. And you might need to lose a couple of pounds. It could happen. I don't know how tall Mark is.
Mark Sin comments Pig versus Robbie. That makes sense. I'll tell you what. Now that's who I want to go for. JP has commented here. It says Pig versus DT, Hen versus Troops. That is the fight to make, people. Me versus DT.
I don't know who these people are.
They're from Arsenal Fan TV. That is the fight to make. I could get behind that one as well, so I'd love to give him a slap. No, I'm joking. Look. But anyway, no, that's the fight to make, people. Forget the other ones. It's Pig versus DT and Hen versus Troops. That is 100% it.
I don't know who this Troops character is, mate, but I'd smash him.
Anyway, I don't think we're going to get any momentum with this one, Hen, to be perfectly honest, because maybe if we improve our channel, that's it, lads and lasses. There's a reason to share the channel. Get the channel growing, because I promise you, when we hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm hunting these motherfuckers down for a celebrity fight.
We could have a doubles match, like wrestling or some shit.
No, I honestly think, the Pig v DT, Henry versus Troops or Goldbridge. Those are the best options, mate.
No, I'd love to, me and Goldbridge, mate, would be brilliant. But no, I mean, he's a big fish, isn't he? He's a big fish.
My money would be on you, Henry, to be fair. Like, I don't know, but I hope you take it seriously anyway. But anyway, what were we talking about before this, mate?
I don't know, mate. I think it's time to get on to the next
Logan
segment.
Paul. Yeah. But anyway, it was a bit shite, and that's basically it. It's done.
KSI
got the win. There we go. Over and done with.
There we go. Let's get on to the next segment. Then let's get on to some call-ins. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're lacking call-ins earlier on. We're so selfish.
We're trying to stick to a schedule.
Just love.
Do you know what I mean?
We love to talk to each other. I love to listen to the Pig. Pig loves to listen to the Hen. And then it's like, just leave call-ins till right at the end. Like, the dregs of society, don't give a fuck about them. But that is wrong. That is the wrong mentality, Pig. We should be talking to people.
We've got to have structure on the show. We can't just
want to talk.
We've got to have these segments and then the calls in. Otherwise, it's just going to be a calamity because there's lots of dead time. Anyway, look, We'll get on to the next section, but yeah, you're always trying to hurry me on, Hen. This is the pig and the hen show, okay? Not the hen and the pig show, right? I've got the structure here. I know I can see the timer on front of me. We try to stick to an hour.
Listen to this,
we try to stick to an hour of football talk. Then we allow, like 15 minutes to the pig and hen's melter at the moment, and then another 15 minutes for the freaking hen's conspiracy hour, or whatever the shite it's called, and then we go on to the phone calls. That's how it is. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that one up. So, Henry, let's get on to it then. No more messing around. It's time for
pig.
It's time for
pig versus the hen boxing match. I'll beef up, you slim down. Let's do it.
You'd have to beef up a heck of a lot, and I'd have to slim down a heck of a lot, mate. I don't see that one happening anytime soon. Do you know what I mean?
Very true, very true.
But anyway, to be fair, backyard street fights, mate. That'll probably get our most viewed video. Me and you just went at it in my back garden. No weights. You just turn up what you weigh. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, right, let's get on to it. It's time for close encounters of the third kind. Over to you, Hotspur.
Okay, so it's quite a serious one tonight. I'm not religious myself, but that we cannot, even us non-religious people cannot turn our nose up and cannot look away from things that are right in our face. In terms of factual evidence out there, which I'm going to speak about right now. And we really have to have an open mind in terms of, what the hell's going on. And, I've spoken before about Epstein and his, his satanic temple, and the Clintons, etc. And, the list of people on the Lolita Express going to that island, worshipping Satan, etc. I mean, this is obviously something that evil people do out there, whether you believe it or not. Okay, I'm actually going to talk about a certain person. This is something I've just come across recently that it kind of blew me away. It really surprised me and it shocked me, and it's definitely worth its time and place on Close Encounters of the Third Kind for the show today. And I'm going to talk about Bob Dylan. Okay, Bob Dylan is someone that most people that are listening right now would have heard of. A big star in the 70s, started off in the 60s era. Basically, he actually had an interview in 2009. It's called 60 Minutes. You can look it up. You could literally type in Bob Dylan 60 Minutes on YouTube, and it'll come up with the interview. Or you could even just type in Bob Dylan Satan or Bob Dylan Devil. Okay, and he actually admits on an interview. Because the interviewer is asking him, where's your inspiration come from? I'm probably a bit wrong the way that the questions are put to Bob, but it's asking Dylan about, what happened? How did you come up with that music? How was it so great? And Bob admits on camera that he literally sold his soul to the chief, the master person. He's not talking about God. He's not talking about a Christian God. He even mentions crossroads. Okay, and anyone that's into conspiracies, if we look at other top musicians, but before our time, in generations gone by, you look at someone like I believe his name was Robert Johnson, like a black blues artist. That he couldn't play a guitar for shit. He was still in his teens or early 20s. He actually disappeared for a year and a half, comes back. Suddenly, he is the best blues guitarist known to man. And he's putting out these songs, and the lyrics are very much Satan related, and he becomes a massive star. He dies at the young age of 27. There's other musicians out there, like violinists, Italians, great violinists, like literally, I mean, this was back in the day. I mean, this is kind of like the real conspiracy stuff that everybody thinks, come on, who believes that. Like you had like someone that was on the violin. He said that he had a dream one day. He woke up next day and he wrote. I believe that the violin piece is called the Sonata, the Devil Sonata, or something like that. And he said it's only 10% or something like that of what he actually heard in his dream that he believed was played to him directly by the devil. And it's a ridiculously good piece of music in terms of violin, where violin goes in terms of classical music. But let's get back to Bob Dylan, because we can actually, people have always said that you've had these musical artists that have been, they've literally sold their soul to the devil. They've kind of left
Look
their
at
family
Justin
or left
Bieber.
their friends. Maybe I'll get onto that, but these people have actually disappeared for a while and come back maybe a year later, and suddenly, before they couldn't even pick up a guitar, or they tried and it sounded like a cat in a bag. And suddenly they're the best in their field, and nobody understands why. And Bob Dylan actually admitted this. This is what it comes down to. You're listening to me right now. You're thinking, what is head on about? He's talking
mate?
shit. What is he rambling on about? Please, after you listen to the Pig of the Hen show today, or you could either stop listening right now and come back to us, whatever you want to do, if you're that interested. But you can literally YouTube it, Bob Dylan, Satan, Bob Dylan, devil.
Maybe he's
Bob
just having
Dylan,
a bit of bants.
Crossroads. Okay, it's not bants. It's not bants at all.
Well,
he actually came out in a 2009 interview, admitted that he'd been to these crossroads, or he'd actually done this. He sold his soul to the devil. He owes the devil. He doesn't say it in those words, but you just listen to that interview. And there's actually people around Bob Dylan that knew him when he was young, that said he was just an average guy. Yeah, he could play a little bit of guitar. He could sing a little bit, just like any of us can, like I can, like my friend can. Just normal peeps. Okay. He went away for 2.5 months, comes back, and suddenly he's like a changed man. He's not even singing or making the sort of normal hippie folk songs that he was making before. Suddenly he's on rock and roll. Doesn't give a shit. He's putting out this music that is unknown to man at the time. He sold his soul to the devil, and he admitted it in a 2009 interview. I'm not even joking. You laugh, mate. You laugh. Just look into it. It's scary, and it just goes on to I'm actually, because I'm not just going to stand here and say, look at Jay-Z, look at this, look at that. They're all Illuminati. This is a massive conspiracy. I'm not just going to stand here and spout bullshit. I'm actually trying to say things to our listeners where they can actually look at an interview and they can read things and actually work out for themselves where I'm coming from and why this is something that's worth looking at. That's what Close Encounters of the Third Kind is about. It's not about just putting out bullshit. It's about actually looking at information that's out there so that we can all make our own judgment on it. And this Bob Dylan stuff, it's pretty freaky. If you watch that interview, it's freaky as fuck, because bottom line, he 99% sits there and admits that he sold his soul to Satan.
But he could have just meant that figuratively. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe he sold out.
Watch it.
Maybe he realised that he could just go away and come back with this new style of rock and roll or whatever, and that it would hit a chord with people. And it was okay. The thing is about Bob Dylan is I've heard a lot of his music. I think he is a great musician, but at the same time, I don't think technicality-wise, like technically, I don't think his guitar playing is that technical. Voice-wise, he's not got the greatest voice. I think lyrically, he's a great songwriter, which is what sets him apart. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a big factor.
But these lyrics and this songwriting ability came from Satan directly. This is what he admits in the interview. The interviewer actually asked him, "Do you think you could do it again? Could you come up with these sort of lyrics again?" He's actually said that this is you could watch this after we stop speaking, Pig. He's actually said he doesn't know where those lyrics came from. It kind of just came to him. He doesn't understand how that got to him. So he doesn't actually go out and say outright this came from the devil, but he's saying he sold his soul. Then he's saying, don't know how this come to me. The interviewer says, could you do this again? He says, no, I don't think so. I could do other things now, but no, I don't think I could do that again. And it is scary and weird and fucking crazy listening to that. And okay, it just goes on to people like Jay-Z, people like Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse. There's a lot of artists out there that are connected with this kind of line of thought, and I don't believe it for 1 second. But when it comes to the conspiracy way of thinking, Bob Dylan is something that we should all look at, and I'd love to hear some comments and feedback on this subject. Just go and listen to that interview. That's all I want.
Fair play. Well, I haven't seen it. I can't
that
really
is
judge without seeing it to see the realism on his face and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it sounds like, Bob Dylan, from what I understand, is somebody that has been associated with drugs and psychedelics in the past. So it's possible maybe he was just high as shit, Hen.
No, but drugs, I've spoken about this. Again, I've spoken about this on the Pick of the Head show. Sometimes drugs and psychedelics are a way to speak to the devil. Okay. The devil speaks to you through
That's all well and good. That's all well and good for the Christian ideologists out there. It's all well and good for the Christian ideologists out there, but what about the other religions of the earth? Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not talking.
I'm glad you've answered the question, though, about there's only one correct religion, and that is Christianity. So nice one, Hen.
I haven't said that. When have I said that?
Well, if there's a devil, the devil, do you know what I mean? It's like you're talking about from a Christian ideology point of view. So Bob Dylan obviously is from a Christian faith, I'm guessing. So, so it's like there's only a small percentage of the earth, is what I'm saying, mate.
Okay, but that's it. Okay, I understand what you're saying. It's because I have been brought up in a Christian society in terms of believing in God, believing in the devil. I'm not particularly religious myself.
Right, I want to get into the comments anyway, Hen.
I'm just putting it out there.
I want to get into the comments and see what people think about your Henspiracy of the week. So, thanks for the Henspiracy. It's an interesting one. I've never heard anything about it, so fair play to you.
Look it up.
Okay, so
Bob Dylan, YouTube. That's what you need to watch before you comment at all, if you haven't seen it already.
Okay, so Gungshi comments Robert Johnson, Father of Blues. Matt Lewis comments Robert Johnson is one of the greatest guitarists ever, taught by a guy called Son House. Gungshi says that's a myth, though, Hen. He's a great guitarist. Son House trained him, guy called Son House. So, Retro Tech comments, check out the Lucifer Eye on the $1 bill. JP comments, Pig always looks disinterested in this segment. LOL. You're not far away from the truth there, mate, on this particular instance. Right, Alex Rudd comments, Bob Dylan must have been on drugs. JP comments, Shia LaBeouf, Jim Carrey. He reckons there's a couple of other people sold their soul, I guess. Matt Lewis says, do you not know him, that he was just high and having a laugh? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to look into it. Gungshi says mechanical elves, Henry. That's what he wants you to talk about. So, look, what's up with this mechanical elves nonsense all about, mate? Do you know anything about that?
Okay, well, I mean, okay, yes. I mean, let's extend on this. So basically, when people listen to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they think I'm going to talk about aliens coming from space. They think I'm going to talk about UFOs and spaceships and abductions and all that bullshit. Do you know what? That is all bullshit agenda pushed by governments that want us to basically believe in aliens. They actually want us to believe in Area 51 and UFOs and all that shit, because actually none of that is happening. The true identities that are affecting our world in ways, in demonic ways that is worrying are entities from different dimensions. Okay, and I've spoken about this before. And I'm a Joe Rogan fan in many ways. I'm an Alex Jones fan in many ways. I don't agree with everything Alex Jones comes out with. I don't agree with everything that I read on InfoWars, although I do have a lot of respect for a site like InfoWars, but I don't agree with all of it. But what I can say is I think there is truth in the fact that DMT has been taken, and it's been taken. It wasn't called DMT a long time ago. We're talking about hallucinogenic drugs, where you can actually sit with friends and you can take plant-based drugs together. We're not talking marijuana, weed. We're talking other stuff where you hallucinate together and you actually experience things together. And I've mentioned this on the Pick of the Head show before. You're experiencing things together, and you actually end up speaking to something called elves, machine elves, mechanical elves. There's different words for them. Some people would even call them the Greys. I think the Greys, like the Roswell aliens, the aliens that a lot of people are mistakenly thinking are coming from the skies, are actually how these mechanical elves look. My hairs on the back of my neck are sticking up right now talking about it. It freaks the shit out of me. But I'm just reporting what people that I respect have spoken about. I've never experienced it myself, but it makes a lot of sense that people like the Nazis in the Second World War had fantastic technological advancements on against their opponents at certain stages of the war, and even after, at the end of the war, they were very knowledgeable, and that, it's been well documented. All you need to do is go out there and look this shit up.
But isn't that just down to just ingenuity and great German engineering? Because they weren't the first in the race for the atomic bomb, were they? So
it doesn't just come to that. All I'm saying is that it is documented that we, people have been communicating with these elves that are from another dimension. All they are is basically AI. All they are just puppets for demonic entities that we're communicating with from another dimension.
Fucking hell.
That's all I know, mate. That's all I know. It's pretty far out shit, mate. But there's a lot of stuff out there that talks about this, and who's to deny it? Who's to deny it if you haven't actually sat there with your friends and taken DMT? You know what I mean? Go do that if you want to find out. That's all I can say. But
there's an idea for a video, Henry. Next time we're back in the UK, the pig and the hen take DMT and go to Trip Out City. That's the next video, mate.
All right, pig. All right. But you're a big Joe Rogan fan, are you not? Like a lot of us are.
Yeah, I've been listening to Joe Rogan for years, mate.
And Joe Rogan has actually come out before and said that he's experienced things with friends where he is talking to entities. That's happened.
Yeah, but he takes things like ayahuasca and like DMT and stuff like that, which, okay, fair enough. You might think of these incidences that you have when you have these trips as connecting with other beings, or it could just be the chemistry inside your brain reacting with these drugs that you put in your body, which makes you experience the world in a completely different way, which would happen regardless of whether or not there was an entity talking to you or not. Do you know what I mean?
How can you jointly experience these things with other people? Let's say 2 of you, 3 of you, more, all experience the same.
Because we've all got similar brain physiology, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? We all have similar themes as human beings running through our genetic makeup. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't really...
So we make ourselves believe... What you're saying is it's kind of like we experience similar things somehow because of our genetic makeup.
I mean, it is quite interesting,
we make ourselves think that, oh, fuck, the same thing happened to us all. Is that what you're
saying?
It's
a funny one, isn't it? As a human being, we have this inner spirituality. We feel spiritual, whether you're religious or not. It's like you look up to the sky, you feel a spirituality being on this earth. Now, why is that? I think there is maybe something to it, and maybe taking those particular drugs it distorts that connection with spirituality, or it increases it. I don't really know, but yeah, there's a lot to say that people are experiencing these type of things while they're under the influence of these drugs. But there's another argument that maybe the drugs are just messing your physiology up in your brain to the point it's just making you see random freaking shit, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Just quickly, just so I can wrap up this segment, I mean, please look up some of Bob Dylan's songs in terms of references to Satan. I mean, there's a bunch of songs. You even look at the guy, what is it, Robert Johnson? I know that Gunshy's just kind of tried to clear him. Was it Gunshy that said he was taught by someone or other? I don't know. Fair enough. I haven't looked into it in depth, but it's undeniable that a lot of his material is very much like Satan related. He's talking about Satan in his songs. Okay, so no wonder people have looked at that and jumped on it. Okay, in fairness, if that's not the case, and they're kind of saying, but undeniably, there are so many songs by these artists that are actually have actually been spotted as potential candidates for having sold their souls to the devil. In terms of their music, in terms of the lyrics, it's everywhere. It's scary. There's even an artist that I've followed. I'll just say it. Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. It's like a pop punk artist now, not so much, but it certainly has more later material. Lyrically, it's suspect. It is suspect. I look at the lyrics and I think, well, do you know what I mean? There's a weird message.
I totally agree, mate. All you have to do is listen to my Fire in the Room raps to understand that I'm in contact with the devil. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
Lots of devil references in my work, mate. Oh yeah, big time devil references in mine.
Well, you are the Red Devils, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah. There you go. I'm straight up evil. I sold my soul for 23,000 YouTube subscribers, mate.
Are you on 23?
No,
now,
not yet. Not yet. Anybody watching, please give this a share. Let your friends know about it. Let your granny know about it. Let's see if we can get to 23,000 subscribers soon.
The scary thing is, if you truly sold your soul, you could be looking at 250,000 plus, 500,000.
Just that doesn't seem worth it to me, mate.
Mark Goldbridge has probably sold his soul to the devil. He probably has.
Well, it doesn't seem worth it to me, mate, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, okay then, that's interesting. Thank you very much for your Henspiracy of the week, mate. It was an interesting one. We'll move on from that now, though. But before we get into
Jay-Z, other main celebrities, Katy Perry,
Conor McGregor, he's had a meteoric rise.
Suspect. There's people that are suspect, but I'm not going to bang on about those people, because you could actually look at evidence surrounding someone like Bob Dylan in terms of what I'm trying to say. But you look at the current music industry, you look at the videos they're putting out, you look at the lyrics, etc. It's plain for anybody to see that it's messed up. That's the end of the Close Encounters of the Turkide segment. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Henry. That's it. I always mess the music up, mate. What's going on there? Anyway, everybody who's tuning in, thanks for stopping by. Now is the time. We've got about half an hour or so to take some calls from you lads and lasses out there. Wouldn't it be insane if we had a lass call in? We've only had lads so far, so if there is a lass out there, or I don't know.
You should just say people.
That's it. I was going to say, or anybody who's gender fluid or whatever, get in here. Do you know what I mean? Give us a call on Skype now. You can call by using the email address pigandthehenShow@hotmail.com. Pig and the Hen.
I mean, to be fair, I'm so comfortable saying that, lads, lasses, and gender fluids, or anybody that identifies with anybody will accept that. But don't ban people that.
Go in.
Pig.
Hey, how you doing? Who's that? Henry, can you still hear him, mate?
I can hear you. We've got a call in. Please let us know if you've got a line there. If you've got a line, my friend.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy. How's it going?
Hello, Pig. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. What's your name? Where are you calling from, buddy?
Mark Sin.
Mark Sin. The Mark Sininator's called in. What a usual legend of the channel. Thank you very much, mate, for getting in here.
Hello, Mark.
Thank you for getting involved all the time in the live chat and stuff, Mark. You always brighten up my day with some of your comments and your lovely avatars and things like that. Top man, what did you have to say then?
Well, first of all, I want to just big shout out to you guys. I just want to say that, first of all, I came across your channel as a bit of a suggestion that came up, because I'm not a United fan.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan like Mr. Rudders, and obviously I took interest in watching some of your brands. And it was just like, I'd come in and think, oh, this is so funny. But then obviously, been watching the show for about 6 months now. It's just been really neutral, really entertaining, and it's just a football show I can get on board with.
Oh, top man, Mark. Thank you very much there, mate. Just making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside and like my life actually means something. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, I do.
Mate, stop coming in your pants, pig. Come on. Jeez.
Hey, Henry, we can actually see you, mate. What's going on? You've gone inside for the calls.
I don't know. I got excited because Mark was saying such lovely things. I thought, well, I better show my face, just to remind the viewers out there who Mark's talking about. Obviously me. But no. But what I want to say, Mark, thank you so much. Lovely comments. I think you're the second British-based caller that we've had. Do you mind saying where you're from? And obviously you support Arsenal, but do you mind saying where you're from? And obviously let us know what it is that you'd like to discuss on the show today.
Yeah. Well, originally I lived from Hong Kong, but I moved to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So obviously got an affinity with you guys. I know you're out there in China at the moment.
Well, that's it. I'm not too far from Hong Kong. Yeah, right now. That's it.
Oh yeah. So I moved over here in the 80s, and lived in the UK since. Pretty much grown up over here, and I'm sure Pig would agree, and you would agree. Football was what we did back in school, and that's how I got into watching football and brought in the old Arsenal.
Oh dear, Mark, I feel for you, mate. I do. I mean, as a United fan, I can't say much. Henry, as a Spurs fan, we can't say much, but we do sort of feel that same dreary feeling as you right now. I'm pretty sure, because it's not good. It's not going exactly rosy for Arsenal at the moment. Would you say? What's the issue? Are you Emery in, Emery out? What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, I think we do need to move on to someone else personally. But who? Like I said, I mean, we're in the same boat. I mean, if Ole Gunnar went, and again Potts went, who would you get? I mean, I don't want Mourinho in. I know you're discussing it earlier on today. I wouldn't want a Mourinho in.
Yeah.
So it's just who? Yeah. So might have to. We'd probably do worse with someone else, to be honest. So maybe
interesting. So I mean, you'd rather keep Unai Emery for now than let's say it was on your shoulders like tonight. You got to make a decision, Mark. Like, are you going to take Jose right now, or are you going to stick with Unai Emery? And you'd stick with Unai.
I think probably stick with Emery to the end of the season, and it's pretty hard to get a manager sort of halfway through the season. All the sort of top managers.
Maybe Arsene Wenger could step in like an interim capacity. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, my mate told me Gerrard was interested.
Gerrard, crikey, could you imagine that?
Gerrard?
Yeah. I'm sure he's...
No, it wouldn't be right, though. You look at Lampard at Chelsea, you can't have Gerrard at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to happen.
No, it'd have to be like Vieira or somebody like that come in and be the interim, surely. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It'd have to be, or Thierry Henry. It couldn't be Gerrard.
Did Alex Rudd earlier, saying Benitez?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah,
he did. What's your thoughts on that, Mark said?
I would definitely take Benitez. I mean, he did a great job at Liverpool, in my opinion. I think, Liverpool have been pretty average over the years, I would say so, sort of certainly in Prem. But when Benitez was there, I did feel as though they were sort of making progress. So he has got that, that's something about him. So yeah, he's free. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would definitely take Benitez. That's certainly someone I would take. So
it's a good option. Plus, he can serve your drinks at the bar and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? It's probably quite a good person to get in, actually. Not only getting a football manager who's won some stuff, he's a pretty good waiter too. Awesome there, Mark.
I know. You could imagine Unai Emery and Rafa Benitez as the two waiters when you go to a top restaurant. And I would say to my missus, don't call that prick over. We want that guy with the facial hair. He knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? Simple as that.
Exactly. Although it would be quite interesting to have Emery come up and be like, "Good evening. Here's the wine list." Or
yeah.
Just a quick one. I've been quite vocal on this, and it'd be a topic that is close to my heart actually. Is
go on
the old VAR really? I mean, do you guys feel as though it needs to go next season?
I mean, I'll jump in there. I think it needs revising for next season. I think come the end of the season, I mean, I'd revise it sooner if I could, but it strikes me as one of those things that will happen at the end of the season. There needs to be revisions. They need to make certain rule changes. They need to change how it's implemented within games. Like I agree with Henry, it should be a bit more like rugby, where the audience in the stadium and the referee watches the replay back a couple of times, and then he makes the decision. Rather it go off to this, this TV room somewhere where they analyse it and all that good stuff. I'd rather it was just still a decision made by the officiating team who's on the pitch, but just to allow access, to that for the officiating team on the day, like very quickly. I think it would actually be a quicker process than all this wait that they've got now as well, and it would probably get the right decision. And if you didn't get the right decision, then somebody's actually accountable for it, and their level of refereeing will be judged based upon that. So that's my thoughts, and I think they need to keep it, because it is important to have the correct decisions, but that's what it has to be. It has to be a system that is there to get the correct decision, and not just taking the decision from the referee and giving it to somebody else and just causing a problem a different way. It needs to be about getting the right decision. So there's definite problems, but I would keep it, just change it quite a lot.
Okay, I mean, my thoughts on that, there's two things that I'd like to see. Number one is we cannot have the long amount of time to make these decisions. There should be a cut-off point. So like I said, a minute. The guys that are not the referee that are making the decisions on the VAR, they've got a minute to decide. At the same time, I agree with Joe, agree with the pig. We need it on the screen. It needs to be like TMO, like rugby. We put it, everything that you see as a TV viewer, watching it on TV, the people in the stadium need to be seeing that too. You put it up on the screen. So, okay, you've got the VAR guys. They can make the decision, but everybody can see the decision they've made. Okay, maybe sometimes they get it wrong, but at least it's there for everybody to scrutinize. If they cannot make a decision within a minute, then it goes to the referee decision. The referee could even change his decision, stood there watching the fucking screen. Okay, but at least that's clear cut. Everyone can see the screen. The VAR guys can make the decision, but they know everybody can see it, so they need to make the right decision, or they're going to look like mugs. If they can't make a decision, it goes to referee decision, and he's going to look like a mug if he's made the wrong decision. So surely, with that kind of breakdown, you're going to get a pretty fair game, aren't you?
You would think. I mean, what do you think, Mark? What's your take on it? Did you prefer the game when there was no VAR, there were no breaks in it, there were no question marks about goals being scored, either the offside flag's gone up or it's not, and that meant it was a goal or not? The problem then is that there were clearer errors, I suppose, but I'm not sure if the amount of times where they got it right versus they got it wrong has changed that much. So.
No, I mean, the thing that I would sort of take away from this, sort of playing devil's advocate. I mean, I remember the days where I would just chat to my mates at the pub, discussing, what was good, what was bad about the weekend's games, and what was right, what was wrong.
Yeah,
a little discussion, So in that respect, I kind of don't want VAR to come in, but like you said, do agree what you guys said. The game. Some of the games where there were big injustices in the games. I remember watching that England game where
Lampard.
England scored and it was like 2 feet over.
Yeah.
Things like that.
The Lampard goal against Germany back in 2000 and 2010.
That's what got the wheels in motion for VAR. Really.
That was June 27th. That was actually the day my eldest son was born. I was sat in a fucking Chinese hospital. My wife had given birth, she'd been sleeping, and I was sat there watching that game. I remember the moment.
Playing Germany, wasn't it?
It was a Lampard goal.
We were 2-1 down. It was in the first half. We were 2-1 down, and we would have equalised 2-2 going in at half time, which would have completely changed the rest of the game. But then we had to come out second half. We were still chasing the lead, so we committed a lot of numbers forward, and I think we lost that game 4-1 in the end. So it did completely change the course of the game. But
for sure. So I think VAR we should have that for the big moments like that. Not because at the moment it seems like Henry was saying earlier. Every little decision, offside, or the tackles, and every goal seems to be VAR. Just like some of them are clear cut. Why is this going to VAR? and it's ruining the game because I remember watching Socrates' goal get disallowed a few weeks ago, and I was thinking, why was that disallowed?
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with that, was there? I remember the incident. Yeah, it was something off the ball. Another player was fouled, but it almost looked like the offending player. Sorry, the player that was penalised for the goal was actually fouled by the opposition player. Is that the incident?
Yeah.
So it's just somebody's opinion still. It's completely farcical, really.
I have to be honest. There is a part of me that wishes we'd just scrap it all. I think Mark was hinting on that actually when he asked us, because the part of the magic of the game is gone. It's like back in the day, we score the goal. You look at the linesman, he's not got his flag up. The referee's happy with it. You've scored a goal. You are on your feet, celebrating, absolutely loving it. And do you know what? That those moments have been taken away from me now as a fan. And the same goes for any fan of any football team. Every time you score a goal, you can't even celebrate it properly. And I think the players can't even celebrate it properly because you just don't know 100%, do you? You're waiting around for a fucking decision, and it to be fair, absolutely it spoils the game so much. I'm almost tempted to say, do you know what, Mark? I'm kind of with you. Fuck it, let's just scrap it.
Yeah, no, the whole point of it was to get rid of controversies as well, and all it's done is create different controversies. Like, that's the problem with it. I agree, maybe it would make a lot more sense to have like a goal, the goal line technology where it's yes or no, it's over the line. But the big incidences and like lines, why even have linesmen then? Do you know what I mean? The linesmen are there to run the line. They're to make sure they're there to see who's offside when the ball is played. Okay, sure, they're human, they make errors, but at the moment we're seeing human error come into these decisions anyway. So yeah, I mean, I think it is spoiling the game. It needs to be changed. If it's not going to be changed, I agree with you, Mark. I would actually rather it was scrapped.
They should change the rule for offside. The offside rule should change. If it's not clear and obvious, it should simply go to the advantage of the attacking team. So if and
then we get more goals
you're not
as well.
Sure about it, exactly. That's how it should be. Everybody knows that.
I fully agree. Hey, Mark, great call, mate. We've got another call coming in, but thank you very much for getting involved. Is there anything you wanted to say briefly before we shoot you off?
Yeah, no, that's no, I appreciate it. No, it's been actually, I think this is the most football we've spoken on this show for a while, isn't it? Always digress, but no, just a big shout out to the guys in the chat. You know, Gunshi, the usual, Griffo, and all the guys. It's a small community, and I'm glad to be a part of it now.
Top man, Mark. Yeah, it is a small community.
Brilliant,
it's a great
Mark.
community.
Mark, remind me, Mark, where are you living at the moment? Which county? Give me a county.
Bristol.
Not too far away.
Fantastic.
Do you not like get me accent like from Bristol?
Yeah, I can. I've got a Bristol friend out here in China with me.
Have you?
So I have indeed. He's a proper pirate. He is.
I tell you what, though, Mark, you sound actually like the poshest Bristolian I've ever spoken to, personally. I wouldn't have even got that. Most Bristolians are like, I can't read and I can't write, and that don't really matter. And all that sort of stuff, aren't they?
Oh, you're taking a piss now, aren't you? You bastard.
Oh, pig, mate, that's out of order, mate. Mark's going to unsubscribe.
Generalisation.
Now. You can't say shit like that.
Hey, anyway, thanks very much for supporting and
Cheers,
getting involved. And great call today, Mark. And pleasure to hear from you. Don't be a stranger. Hopefully, we'll hear from you, again soon. But yeah, please do keep supporting the channel and getting in there and interacting with everybody in the chat, etc. Because people like you that make the wheels go round. Do you know what I mean?
Just a quick one, Pig. Why did the show start so early? I almost overslept today. I always wait.
Right, yeah, it's a good point actually you bring up. We sort of changed it to 1 p.m. UK time at the moment because of daylight savings and everything. Like, it's a bit late for Henry where he is there to do it at 3 p.m. But we just brought it forward another hour as well, just to make it a bit more accessible for Henry, because sometimes when the show ends it's like 1 a.m. his time, and he's obviously got work the next day and stuff like that. So that's all. It will be from 1 p.m. UK time for the foreseeable future anyway.
It's all for me, basically. It's all for me. So I can, it's not so late for me. That's all, yeah.
All right, guys. I wouldn't keep you. You got another call, wouldn't you?
Top man. Well, thank you, Mark, for calling in. Have a great week, mate. And
brilliant call, Mark. Thank you so much.
Hopefully.
Cheers,
Top man. Cheers, Mark. Take care, mate.
Bye.
Lovely stuff. Right, okay. And we've got a call coming in here. It is, hang on a second. Maximilian7, I'm going to call you back because every time you call for some reason, it says it will place my current call on hold. So I'm going to add you. So I'm going to add you to this call. So one moment.
We've got a lot of calls coming through because they're coming through on mine. Say we got Max, we got Pete,
yeah, no, that's
others.
from a group. That's just the same group. That's why it's not letting me because he's calling from the group. That's where you're going wrong, Max. You need to just call the email, not the group chat, because the group chat's starting a whole new conversation. Maximilian7, are you there, my friend? Maximiliano. It says he's joined, though, right? No. This is what happens with live calling sometimes, lads and lasses. But anyway, hopefully we'll get this resolved soon. Great call from Mark Sin, though. Just want to give him another shout out on the channel because that was a brilliant call about VAR and, of course, Arsenal's current state of their managerialship and that sort of thing. Great to hear people who just have so much positivity to say as well about the channel and stuff like that. Obviously, this channel's not,
for sure,
not a huge channel, but we do have a lot of great subscribers who do watch along and stuff.
I love the way that, you know, he's not even a United fan. And, of course, we talk a lot about United. We talk about Tottenham. I'm sure that's the last thing that most Arsenal fans want to hear about. But at the same time, you know, he loves the show. He's listening to the show. And that's brilliant, you know. And I just want to keep putting out we need to be putting out content on the Pick of the Head show, which is relative or relatable to all. And fantastic. Thank you so much for the support, guys. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, it'd be great to hear from a whole bunch of you guys. Call in if you can. Today, it'd be wonderful to hear from you. Any of the usual legends and any of the new legends we've never heard from before as well. It'd be fantastic to speak to all of you.
I mean, do I need to accept the call? Because I could choose to accept the call here from Maximilian, but I mean, I don't.
No,
it shouldn't be me, should it?
You don't need to do that. No, is he call? So I'm just trying to call him back now, and it should add him to the group. Listen, anybody else who wants to call, please do call in. Maximilian, if you're listening to us, I'm trying to call you. You just need to accept the call. If not, then phone the Pig and the Hen Show at hotmail.com. Don't phone the group chat that we spoke to previously because that will end this group chat, and then there'll be all sorts of issues. So. There you go. But anybody else who does want to call, please do call in while you can.
I'll just put it out there. Anyone can call in about anything. It doesn't have to be football related. It doesn't even have to be Close Encounters of the Third Kind related. It doesn't have to be Melter of the Moment related. If you just want to call up and talk to the pig and talk to the head about something that obviously isn't obscene, but something that's worth discussing, whatever it is, please call in and we'll discuss it.
Absolutely, lads and lasses. Maximilian, are you there, my friend?
How's it going, man?
Hey, Peter Miller, by the way, I can see you calling. You'll be next in line. Please be patient, my friend. But yes, Maximilian, great to hear from you again. Calling from Munich, Germany. That's right, isn't it? How's the weather over there?
Oh, the weather got pretty shit. Like it's close to like 2 degrees.
Same here. It's freezing your tits off time in the UK too, as well. To be fair.
Oh, fuck you guys! I'm still out here in short sleeve shirt, shorts. It's evening and it's like 25 degrees plus. I mean, it's just comfortable right now. Daytimes it's still hot. It's pissing me off, actually. I kind of miss the cold weather. I want to put my hat on and my jacket on, etc.
Well, you always miss what you don't have, because I wish it was a bit warmer, to be fair, mate. But anyway, great to hear from you, Max. What's on your mind this week, my friend?
Yeah, dude, to be honest, like I'm actually, I was in my office and I told my boss I'm gonna grab a quick cup of coffee and I'm actually chatting with you guys.
Are you serious? On your break? That's bloody awesome. You legend.
I'm that serious.
Wow, it's taking time off work to get on the Pig and the Hen show.
That's bloody awesome. Well, you better make it quick then, Max.
Yeah, I guess I'll just talk about like the recent sort of run of results.
Hey, can I guess, Max? Let me guess. You want Manchester United to sign Granit Xhaka? Is that it?
Yep, yeah. Absolutely.
No, sorry, carry on.
And David Luiz.
And David Luiz, yeah, crikey.
Yeah. So basically, what I was thinking was, do you think that we really need we should strengthen in the midfield in January. Like Ericsson has been heavily linked. Hen is gonna love this.
Oh, come on. No, it's not gonna happen. He's not gonna do a Sol Campbell, mate. Come on.
That was even worse, wasn't it? Because that was actually to your bitter rivals. But no, I think it's realistic, Max. Like, I think we should be looking to improve in that position. Eriksen's one of the 3 players. I don't know if you saw, I made a video a week or 2 ago about the few players that are reasonably realistic that I'd actually like to see come to United in that midfield position. And Eriksen's definitely one of those. He's sort of out of favour at the moment. He's not having a good time at Spurs this season statistically. If you look at what he's actually contributed, it's quite small. And I think he needs a revitalisation of his career, whether that means going in a different league for a different team, maybe. But certainly United would want him. We could pay him just as well as anybody, I'm sure. He's a player that we need more than anybody, probably. You know, like I'm sure there's other teams around the world that would take him. But he fits that sort of mould of the player that we need right now. He's about the right age, 29, he's experienced, got the Premier League experience, he's got the quality set pieces, all that sort of stuff. I would like to see United go for him. The only problem I see stopping that is that there's no way Spurs would want him to go to United. They'd rather him go abroad. That's the biggest concern with Christian Eriksen, because I just don't think Levy's like, yeah, let's just allow him to go to United and strengthen them, when he could just allow him to go abroad, and then it's like out of sight, out of mind. Then, you know.
Right. See. That's so. You made some good points, but you also mentioned something along the lines of that Eriksen. He's kind of it's kind of gotten stale at Tottenham for him. And he's not fancying it. So, like, do you think that United should really be looking to go for players like that, who would kind of how do you say that in English, like throw the toys off the pram when winter is coming. So it's so I'm not too sure if we should be going for players like that, because one thing I'll definitely give the young players like Rashford and Brandon Williams coming through, Pereira, like these guys, I can actually feel that they're ready to like die for United. They really care about the club. Yeah. But if we're gonna get people, and I think that was what this whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer project was all about, just to get some people who actually care about the club.
Sorry, Max, I'd love to hear what you were saying, but Henry's having a hurricane attack at the moment. So what's going on there?
I'll just go back to where I was.
Good idea, mate.
I'll go for a little wander, but this might not be the best idea.
Crikey. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there, Max. Like, in fact, you're probably right. Like, if I had the choice right now of, say, Eriksen or Maddison, I probably would go for Maddison, just because Maddison's younger, he's hungrier, he's got more to prove. Like you say, Eriksen it's actually quite a similar scenario to maybe Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal when we got him. It's like, it's like he's a great player for them, but he's at the top of his experience in terms of his age. Is he going to get a better contract after coming to United? Will he come to United just because he can get a good deal here and really his hunger's all gone? That I completely understand what you're saying. Like the signings that Solskjaer's made this season as well, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and James, like those are 3 players that fit the mould of younger, hungrier players with something to prove who are making the step up to United. Eriksen coming to United at this tough time, maybe he's not got the same mentality, the right mentality for United. I actually think you're right. I actually think we'd be better off trying to get other players like Ndidi or like Maddison or some other guys who maybe have more to prove, maybe have to step up, and that would fit in better with the squad. The last thing we want to do is get another overpaid player who doesn't perform. That's the last thing we want to do. And you're only increasing the chances of that happening by getting somebody like Eriksen, who's thrown his toys out the pram, who maybe is out of favourite Spurs at the moment, because maybe his best days are behind him, or maybe he wants a completely new challenge, like you're saying, going abroad to Real or somebody like that. So yeah, fully agree with you there, Max. It's a great point you made. What do you think, Hen? Do you think Eriksen coming to United would be a big plus for us, or should we spend our money elsewhere?
Also, can I quickly ask one question to Hen as well? Sure. That there were strong rumors that Eriksen had, like, I don't know, he was having an affair with his teammate's wife or something like that. Like, do you know, Hen, if that's actually accurate, or was it just?
Wow.
nonsense?
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's the first I've heard of it.
Well,
I really don't know. I haven't heard that. I mean, that's fascinating. If that's the case, that would explain a lot. To be fair, you might have uncovered something that I wasn't aware of. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I haven't been looking into the actual handbags news stories of Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe I should have been. I've been busy. But if there's truth in what you're saying there, Max, then that would explain a lot, would it not?
I think it was Vertonghen, and like I think he slept with Vertonghen's wife or something like that.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Really? This is massive.
What?
This
Who?
could have been Close Encounters of the Third Kind tonight, couldn't it? Like actual football related.
Hold on, are we still
Seriously?
talking about Christian Eriksen here?
Yeah. So apparently, what happened was this guy Eriksen
Crikey.
was seen with a black eye, and apparently, and a lot of media sources said that basically Vertonghen punched him because he was sleeping with his missus. So
Bloody hell!
I'm not sure.
So he's done a John Terry to his Wayne Bridge. And he's done a Terry to the bridge.
Precisely, yeah.
At Spurs. That is so. If that's the truth, mate.
And
much. I mean, Vertonghen's not been in the side last couple of weeks. What is
Exactly.
going on?
Mate, that's hilarious. That's the first I've heard of that. So it turns out that Eriksen's a bit of a dirty dog. Is that what you're telling us?
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we don't want that prick at United.
exactly. That's my point. Because off the field stuff is as important as on the field. So
But
yeah.
you love Ryan Giggs, though, don't you, lads?
From a on the pitch point of view, yeah.
That's a fair point, I guess. Yeah.
You made a fair point, but in another
Very interesting.
But at the time when he was playing for United, that wasn't really, maybe right at the end of his United career actually that happened, wasn't it, as a player? But it's not like we
Right.
knew about that at the start or the middle of his career. That was right at the tail end of it. So do you know what I mean? Not excusing it, like obviously that is messed up. It's even worse than John Terry and Wayne Bridge or Christian Eriksen and Vertonghen. Do you know what I mean? But another thing I'd just like to say is if you are Christian Eriksen, you've got to be a bit dumb to pick on Vertonghen's misses, don't you? He's like twice the size of you, Eriksen.
But what it comes down to is you are a highly paid sports personality, essentially. Like you are a an absolute superstar, on the sporting stage, playing for one of the top clubs across Europe, across the world. And you just and you try to sleep with your teammates' misses. I mean, come on, you couldn't even write this shit. It's like me and the pig. We don't play for top teams. I wouldn't go anywhere near his misses. You know what I mean?
Why? What's wrong with my missus?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your missus.
What are you trying to say?
said I
You wouldn't have the common decency to cheat on me with my missus? Is that what you're saying? I thought we were friends.
Oh, so what you're saying is Eriksen's done it to show Vertonghen that he thinks his missus is suitable for him. That's what you're saying.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore, mate. Honestly don't. But yeah, fantastic call though. Like it's an interesting one. Cat out of the bag moment. Turns out Christian Eriksen's a shagger.
What can be proven even by our rhetoric over the last 30 seconds or so, that it will definitely cause problems in the dressing room if shit like that is going on. So
Without
thank
a
you,
doubt.
Max, for making us aware of if I need to look into this. So I'm not going to take your word for it, but if there is any truth in that rumor, then that is fascinating.
And I'm pretty sure this is not recent. This is like, I would say like about a month ago or even more. Like it's
Okay.
And that really could explain a lot of like a lot of reason why Tottenham has been like so shit. So it's
Sure.
like you never know.
Are you sure it wasn't Pochettino fucking his wife?
That's even worse, isn't it? That's the ultimate when the manager does it. Like, didn't Alan Pardew do that while he was at Southampton? Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure
Really,
Alan
Pardew?
Pardew shagged one of his players' wives. Crikey. Oh my days. Hey, anything else you want to discuss quickly, Max, before we move on to the next call? We've got Pete waiting in the wings, so
yeah. Just a quick question for both of you.
Sure.
Are you guys VAR in or VAR out? Or undecided?
Well, we pretty much already been over that on the call before, but
okay.
I would say yes if they make the necessary changes and revisions that I'd like to see, but no if they're not prepared to change it as it currently is right now. I'd say no.
It was better. It was better before than what VAR is now. VAR needs to be revised to what we all, as fans, basically agree to. The funny thing is it's not like fucking Brexit. It's not like some decision that everybody's disagreeing on. To be honest, the vast majority of fans would actually agree on where they see VAR should be. So that is where it should be, because that's what everybody wants to see. So let's see that first, then let's have that conversation.
The thing I don't understand is that before VAR was, before it was decided that that we're gonna have VAR, like the terms and conditions were that the decision of the referee would only be overturned if it's a clear and obvious error.
I know, and they've backtracked on it. Same as British politics, mate. You know, Boris Johnson said we'd be out by the 31st of October, but we're still in the EU. So I know what you're saying, mate. They're full of shit, these people. That's it.
I mean, if someone is like a toenail offside, how is that clear and obvious? Like that's not good enough evidence to overturn the referee's call, because even with technology, the frames per second that we see on TV are way smaller than what actually happens on the pitch.
Yeah.
So even if you pause the video and you watch
I mean, I don't think they're actually really doing the offside rule any justice by doing this, because it's stopping the amount of goals that are awarded, which makes it a more boring game. What you want to do is have more goals, if anything. And the offside rule was first brought into play back whenever it was, because to stop goal hanging, right? To stop you having the ability to just leave a man up top there and hoof a long ball up and him just hang around the goal. It's to stop that. So as long as it's serving its purpose of stopping that, I don't see why there shouldn't be there has to be clear daylight between the player and the defender in order for it to be offside. I'd prefer it if there was clear daylight. Which you should be able to in this day and age find out. Like you can have a photo finish camera, or all these crazy cameras they've got these days, all down the side of the pitch, and you'd be able to find out exactly who's onside and who's not offside by daylight. That would actually make more sense. Plus, you'd see a lot more goals.
It comes down to me. I still like the fact that it should come down to human decision, and that human decision should be made within a minute. Like Gary Lineker said, they've got a minute to decide whether it's offside or not, if it's even slightly contentious. If they can't make a decision and it's not obvious within that minute, then it goes to the referee's original decision, which in effect would be goal, because surely he's already said goal by that stage. I don't even know. Does the ref even say goal these days, or does he wait for VAR?
He gets a little notification on his wristwatch, doesn't he?
I
know, it's so wrong. It's so sick and wrong. It is. The whole system.
I think the bigger problem is not VAR. I think the bigger problem is the rules in football itself. Like they're so unclear. Like why can't they like for example, what exactly is a handball? Like you never know. So true. Yeah. If it's like what do you mean by intentional handball or unintentional handball?
Yeah.
Like there's such a gray area. Even for offside, why can't they add like a tolerance of 2 or 3 centimeters? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. It should be that. It should be that. End of the day, it's either clear cut or it's not.
Exactly.
In terms of handball, the current law, as far as I know, is, if the hand looks like it's away from the body and it hits the hand, then that's handball, regardless of anything else.
But that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. It says if it's in an unnatural position, and what constitutes an unnatural position? That's the whole problem.
For me, it needs to be. If the referee wants to check it, it goes up on the screen. He looks at it, and then he makes the decision. I guess what they're worried about is if the referee makes a decision that's deemed or not appreciated by the majority of people in the stadium, then that could put the referee at risk. I think that's what they're worried about. I think that's what it comes down to.
It could do, but surely if the fans in the stadium know that the decision is wrong anyway, then that is going to incite some sort of reaction anyway. But yeah, I guess having it singled out on one person's fault, it being, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie,
it's a lot of pressure.
The movie Rat Race, where Cuba Gooding Jr. plays an American football referee who makes the worst decision in American football, and then he's public enemy number one. Then everybody if they see him, they're not happy with him. So I can understand it. Like, it does put that person at risk. That's the problem. It's a good point you bring up, Henry. Yeah.
Let's just get rid of VAR then. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
It was better before. It was better
before.
Yeah.
It was definitely better before. Linesmen, referees. I mean, it makes their job more important and more interesting in a way.
I think the only piece of technology that has been successful and that
gold line technology.
Exactly. Like, there's no debate about that.
Yeah.
Because it's proper technology and there's no bullshit.
So to be fair, I'd like to see offsides. If the linesman and the referee disagree on an offside, have a TMO. Have it come up on the screen and the referee can make the decision by looking at the offside decision on the screen. And if it's not obvious, then it's a goal. I mean, even me as a referee, I could look at that screen and make my decision. Like Sheffield United versus Tottenham the other day at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Sheffield United should have won that game 2-1 because both of those goals, for me, were not offside.
Were legit, yeah.
That's it. And as coming from a Spurs fan, that's me trying to be honest about my feelings towards that shit.
Hey, Max, guys, listen, a great call, mate. I'm going to have to shoo you off now because we have got Pete waiting in the wings. But thank you ever so much for your call again, Max, and hope the rest of your day goes well at work. Thank you for taking the time out your working day to come and say hello to the Pig and the Hen on the Pig and the Hen show. Top man.
Cheers, guys.
Well, tell your boss to subscribe to the channel, yeah?
All right, hope to hear from you again soon, Max. Thanks for your call, mate. Great call.
All right, guys. See you.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Mr. Peter Miller.
You all right, mate? How's it going?
You all right, geese? How's it going?
I'm doing well, mate.
Brilliant. You're calling from the West Midlands, aren't you, my friend?
Yeah, I've literally just finished work like 30 minutes ago. So, I don't really fucking know like what's been talked about yet. I just like to ask you 2 random questions, one each. That's all right.
Yeah, great stuff. Go for it.
Nice, do it.
Yeah. First of all, I'd just like to say, Henry, mate, thank you so much. I mean, I shouldn't really be saying you're welcome, mate, because last show I was at work, so I couldn't listen to it. But afterwards, I listened to it and I found out I actually inspired you. So you're welcome, mate.
No, you did, mate. You did because you told me your age, and for me, I'm just thinking anybody that's kind of young, that's listening to the show, that actually appreciates the content and thinks that what we have to say is relevant. It makes me feel younger, you know what I mean? Which I'm always going to appreciate. Obviously, I'm not a complete old codger yet, so fair play to you, Pete. Thank you.
Well, thank you, man. Right, so I'd like to say, this is a question for you, Pete. So you made a video talking about where we need to strengthen. You said midfield. Yeah, and you've talked about it again today with Max. You said, okay, we need to really start strengthening the midfield. Okay, but I'd like to hit you right now with a fact about Manchester United. So are you familiar with Soccer Base at all?
I can't say that I am, no. What is that then, Soccer Base?
Soccer Base is basically like you get details and like statistics about all of the teams in the Premier League.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
So, for example, I'm looking at Newcastle United, right, at their current squad, right? They got 4 options for goalkeepers, like bloody more than 10 options for defenders, more than 10 for mids, and for forwards, got 6 options, right?
Right.
And United have got similar defence, similar midfield. I think they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got like 10 options for midfield, right? Okay. And for the forwards, we've only got 3 options. for our forward, which is the worst out of any other team in the Premier League.
Well, even worse than Tottenham Hotspur.
I've checked every team. It's the worst by far out of team.
Well, yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me because who have we got up there? Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford who can play there but shouldn't play there, right? That's it.
So my question is, you've been saying about the midfield. So to what extent do you agree that depth and sort of things like that are more important than quality out there on the pitch?
Right. Good question. Great question, Pete. This is an interesting topic. So, yeah, I mean, I think that United's problems in midfield, it doesn't stem from the lack of players there, because we have got a lot of players that can play there, like you say, especially in, like, if you think of, like, a CAM role, which is what I was talking about, somebody to create for United, because the creativity is where we've been lacking. We have got, like, Mata and Lingard and Pogba can play there, and Chong and Gomez, and these guys. There's lots of players that can play there. But I agree with you, though. I think at this stage for United now, it's not about having the depth in those positions necessarily. It's about having the better quality out there in the starting 11. That's probably more important for United right now. And what that also does is if you were to sign a player who instantly gets into your starting 11 and improves your starting 11, it automatically gives you that extra depth as well, because suddenly the player that was playing there is now demoted to your second string, if you like. And so, like Fred, for instance, if you were going to replace him with somebody better, he's now your backup. He's not your main man. He's probably not good enough quality. Okay, we've seen a bit from him recently, but good enough quality to be our main man there. Only time will tell, I suppose. But then CAM is the same. If we signed like a quality player like a Bruno Fernandes or a James Maddison or somebody that's just first name on the team sheet in that position, then it does mean that you've got more depth automatically there. So it's kind of a byproduct, but I think that quality right now for United, it is more important than just having a lot of bods in there,
Yeah, I get that, but I just think that, in terms of basically right now, we need a top goal scorer out there scoring consistently. Okay, we've got Martial, Rashford, Greenwood.
Yeah,
I personally think none of them are as consistent as they should be. And this in January, we really need to be prioritising, players in that position. That's what I think.
I do it.
Okay. I mean, can I
go on?
Can I say something? So, like, to be fair, I think Rashford is a proven goal scorer. He definitely gets goals, but he's half the time he's played out of position. A lot of people disagree with me. They think he's better coming in from the left or whatever it is that you do at United there, but he doesn't get the chance to be the out-and-out striker. Martial, sometimes he has a hot streak, sometimes he does nothing for a while. And Greenwood, I mean, completely unproven. Bottom line for it, I think where you're coming from, Pete, is for a team like United, you should have a goal scorer there where people are kind of putting their money bottom dollar on that striker to perform week in, week out. He needs to be scoring the goals. The fact that you're not... Sorry, go on.
No, I'll just agree with you, mate. It's the uncertainty that puts me off in that sense.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have like a Harry Kane or a Jamie Vardy or somebody like that who's like the main man. All us United fans, we are hoping obviously that Martial is that man, but like you say, he's had some injury problems. When he's played at striker this season, he's looked good, but he's still had a couple of ropey games there as well. We don't necessarily have that main man at striker there to call on and rely upon to bang 25 goals a year. We just don't have that. So yeah, I think that is a key area for us. I think Martial is that man for us right now, though. Like, he's been given the number 9. He's going to play there. Rashford's going to play wide. If he doesn't get those goals, then we'll have to look at strengthening that area. But for now, what I'd do anyway, I also mentioned this in my video the other day where I was talking about strengthening the midfield. But, there's lots of speculation about Haaland, that young 19-year-old Norwegian lad. That's a good option for me because it's not like going out there and signing... we could sign like obviously not realistic, but like a top striker, like a Lewandowski or something on big money. But then it's just going to detract from Martial's development in that position. And really, he could actually be that quality player. If you look at some of the stuff he does, it's Thierry Henry-esque at times, So he's got the potential, but he's going to have to play there week in, week out and sort of ply his trade at striker. Well, one thing that Henry was saying about Rashford is also true about Martial. Over his United career, he's played all over the place. This is really the first time that he's like, yes, you are the striker. You are the top man up there. So, and he had that injury, so we've not really seen a whole lot from Anthony Martial this season. But what I have seen, I've liked, and I'm hoping that he's going to start being that main goal threat for us. But I agree we do need to strengthen that area as well. I mean,
just...
overall, Pete, the areas of the team I think we need strengthening the most are striker, CAM. We could do with another central midfielder as well, because I'm just not. I know Fred's been good recently. I mean, what's your opinion on Fred? Do you think we should just keep Fred as the main CM partner with McTominay at the moment, or do you want Pogba back in, or would you go for somebody else in January to strengthen even more?
I'd say keep Fred. I think we really need to get some forwards there. That's what I think. Because three in the whole club is not good enough. We need like 5 or 6 good forwards there. You know what I mean? Because how can I like to see 4-3-3 being played. So if we've got 3 forwards, they're going to have to be played there every time if we're playing that formation. So how does you know? How do the Glazers expect them?
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Pete. I mean, having looked at Liverpool, Manchester City, I don't know if you saw that game the other day. Obviously, you've got Firmino, you've got Mane, you've got Salah up there, and Salah and you might not say they're out strikers, but they're still able to play that position. They've got Origi waiting in the midst there, so that they can play this kind of attacking way. I'm not saying United are there. I'm not saying that you need to be able to play that way to compete, because maybe, bottom line, you're a different team. But I think I know what you're saying. And, as a Spurs fan, I look at things in a very similar way. Bottom line, we've got Harry Kane, who's, he's a tall, solid player. He hasn't been at his best recently, but we all know what Kane can do. I think actually Son is our best player. Is he an out-and-out striker? He could do different things. But other than those two, yes, we've got Lucas Moura that has done brilliant stuff here and there. But other than that, we're in a very similar boat to Manchester United. We've probably got better players in those positions, all in all, when I talk about those 3 players. But I'm talking about 3 players. You're talking about 3 players. Liverpool, Manchester City are talking about a hell of a lot more players.
Yeah,
the
difference is if United have an injury, like when Martial was injured for a month or so, it totally screwed us up. And imagine if we were in the situation where Rashford, Martial, and James are injured, and we're trying to play 4-3-3, or it's like, who actually comes in? Suddenly, it's like Greenwood's the main guy, and then you're having to just put round pegs in square holes, effectively, So. Yeah, I agree. I think another winger we could definitely do with as well. Like, because if Dan James picks up a knock, it's like we're screwed in that area too. So, yeah, I fully agree. Depth, we need to improve the depth in January, but by doing that, also try and look to improve the starting 11. Oh, we have got a bit of a shite squad, haven't we? That's the problem. A few injury problems, and we're up shit creek. There's no depth there.
I mean, I did not expect us to have the least number out of any team in the Premier League, mate. It's Man United we're talking about. We shouldn't be, having that statistic about us. You know what I mean?
I know, and it's all really the owner's fault and everything, because people like to blame Solskjaer for Lukaku and Sanchez going and us not improving or getting replacements. But come on. He would have wanted the replacements. It's not like he wants to start the season with a skeleton squad. So really, it's the owners and Woodward. It's their fault for not giving us the tools to carry out the first part of the season properly. I expect them to strengthen in January, but even if they do, it's all a little too late. We didn't have the depth there. Martial got an injury earlier on in the season, and that screwed us up. So I blame it all on those tossers, to be honest with you, Pete.
Yeah. My tossers, absolute tossers. All right, I'll do my quick question for Henry, because I've got to go in a minute, because I've got to go to college and hand over some work. So the question is, right, last week I said Tottenham are only 1 point behind United. You can't take the piss. I said that last week. Right, now, how many points behind United? Like what? 2, I think?
I think 2 now, yeah.
Okay, so 2. So at the minute in the league, you've got 10 teams there, which are like 4 points apart, right?
Yeah.
So if you ask me, I've always said, at this point it's all to play. Right? So how many more shit performances, really, you've got to be honest, how many more bottle Spurs is it going to take for us to have to say, Spurs, it's a write-off season, top 4, no chance, mate. Right minute, I'd say top 4 is still a possibility.
Okay, so your question's got nothing to do with when do we need to say goodbye to
Pochettino.
That's it, to Pochettino.
Yeah.
Your question is more in terms of like, when can we say goodbye to top four? And
Yeah.
it's a simple answer for me. I mean, I could already say goodbye to top four right now. I really do not see us challenging for top four at all this season. We're completely off the radar. As I've been saying on the Pick of the Head show for a couple of weeks now, and I'll keep saying it, you have your top four set in stone right now. And those teams, for me, all day long, in Manchester City, Liverpool, Leicester, and the other team that's in the top four right now.
Chelsea?
That's it, exactly, who have won the last 6 games in a row. So, I don't see any of those capitulating. I mean, absolutely, they look top-notch.
You're 11 points behind 4th place at the moment, Henry. Spurs are. United are 9 points. So, it's only 3 or 4 games to get back into it, but you have to obviously you've got to have the teams in the top 4 slip up and show a bit of poor form, which I don't know if they're really going to do. So
my question to you, Pig, and to Pete, is out of that current top 4, who is the most likely to drop out of it to allow United in? Because I don't think Spurs are going to get there. I'd say it
would be.
Can Arsenal get in? Probably
I'd say
not.
It would be Chelsea. But I know they're on the best form at the moment, but they still, it's a big ask for them to carry this on for the rest of the season. Maybe they will, but out of those teams in there, I think Leicester are probably playing the best stuff out of any of the top 4 at the moment. Yeah, I would have said them. They really are, yeah. I really would have said
Leicester
them because
side, yeah.
Because you don't expect Leicester to finish in top 4 really, but they're playing the best stuff, so I expect them to.
But they've got the sort of striker that Pete was just talking about. Just imagine Vardy at Manchester United.
Yeah, that's what we need.
He's a top striker.
Yeah, I'd actually disagree with you, mate. To be fair, I'd say Leicester.
Yeah, they could do. I mean, I think they're playing the nicest football. They've got a more settled squad, but
I was thinking, in the league, I think quality and club size does sort of towards the end. I'm saying it does make a difference.
Makes a difference. You think Leicester could capitulate because, but having said that, Pete, they are Premier League winners. They've got a manager there that's finished second with Liverpool back in the day, and I know you were still a young lad. You're still playing your PlayStation 1 back then or whatever it was. But bottom line, I remember Brendan Rodgers with Liverpool, with Fernando Torres playing the best football I've ever seen from Fernando Torres. And they came second to Manchester United, did they not? That season, is that right? But Brendan Rodgers knows exactly what he's doing in the Premier League. I really rate Brendan Rodgers. I read a comment actually, saying Brendan Rodgers is crappy. He's just following the clubs. He's hunting the glory. But even if that's the case, he's going about it the right way. If anyone sold his soul to the devil, it's him.
I just don't believe that. You've said even if Spurs, say best case scenario, Spurs got an excellent run of form there. They'll be able to get to 5th easily because that's only 3 points away. And then from there, they've got 26 games or like 25, 24.
I know. I don't see it happening.
He's a bit of a negative Nelly, isn't he, to be fair, Pete? Like, come on, it's only start of the season. Get a bit of backbone.
I really don't see it happening. I really don't. I think there's more to it than that. There's bigger problem at Tottenham Hotspur. Even Pete, you've actually brought up this kind of affair that's possibly going on that I'm going to have to look into. I mean, that's another nail in the coffin. I'm telling you right now, do not expect Tottenham to be challenging for top 4 this season. We might be able to get back up into, I'd be happy with 5th or 6th right now, really.
Let me ask you a quick question, Pete. I know you said you had to go, but just yes or no will do. Do you think United, if let's say we make some great signings in January, probably not going to happen, but if we do, could we get back into the top 4? Like you say, we're only 9 points off of it, but we have been very inconsistent. That's the problem.
I mean, you asked the question, like, can we? I think we could, but we've got to shit back up. That's what I've always thought.
Oh, not a fan of Solskjaer. No, I remember you from last time said about this. Yeah, fair enough. The stats don't really lie, so I can't really say too much. But like I did say, we haven't got the best squad, and that's down to the owners. It's down to Woodward as well. Like, it's not all on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We had that spell where Martial got injured, and that is when United started to do really shit. So if we'd have had a bit of depth there, if we'd have made the signings in the summer to help out with injuries, then we might have been in a bit of a better position now. But I do agree that style of football is a bit shy. But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Can I just say 2 quick more things?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm at work today. What were each of your melters at the moment?
My melter at the moment was equally Raheem Sterling and Gareth Southgate. Southgate for handling it publicly and not just dealing with it internally, which I think he should have done. So he was a melter for that. And then Raheem for being a bit of a crybaby and not being able to take a loss and a bit of banter on the chin, you know. Those are mine. And Henry's, what were yours again, mate?
And my melter of the moment was VAR, but in specifically offside decisions where you're literally looking at, toenails and fucking eyelashes and foreskins that are literally just edging either into offside or onside territory. And they're we're not talking about gold medal Olympic 100 meters who's won it. As Usain Bolt got his foreskin over the line or not. They're looking at every single offside decision along those lines, and it's fucking complete bullshit.
I used to play football when I was a little kid. What the referee used to do, even if it was close, he would just say, "Yeah, let the team that scored it have some beautiful football. It was close, somewhat." You know what I mean?
I know it should go to the attacking team. Yeah, it should.
Yes.
But then you end up with more goals. You end up with more entertainment at the end of the day. You know, it doesn't really change the game negatively. It just means that the same rules are applied for both teams, and it should make for a free-flowing game of football with more goals. All they're trying to do is get less goals at the moment. It's sort of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are trying to do by playing like to the T or whatever the fuck you call it. But, yeah. Right, just one last quick thing, and then I'll after the call. Pig, I'd just like to say the amount of time I've been watching the channel for longer than I've been watching the Pig and the Hen show, right?
Yeah.
And whenever I'm chilling with mates, right, I'll say, lad, trust me on this. I'm gonna put this guy on. You're gonna fucking laugh your fucking head off, mate. I put your fucking rants on and your fucking all sorts of other stuff, and they fucking love it. Where it is so funny, and it's provided so many good laughs, and like I swear down, we've laughed for fucking minutes and minutes and minutes on end, just hysterically at it. So thank you for providing such.
Mate, thanks for watching it, Pete. I'm surprised people watch it, man. Like people do love that, and it does bring the best out of me when United lose, and I'm trying to get it off my chest, and I dissect it the way I do. You know, it definitely. I know they do a lot better than when United win, for instance, because obviously I've got a lot more real stuff to say when United do badly. So, yeah. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you're sharing it with your friends. I'm glad that they think it's something good as well and find it funny. That's sort of half the... I understand there's a certain amount of people that are just tuning in for the jokes aspect of it. You know what I mean? Because I do try and make it... I don't want it to just be angry. I want it to be angry and a little bit amusing at the same time. You know, I'm aware of that.
It's also... when you get in there, my son, come on, my son, and all that sort of thing. But also, I think Henry as well, you're fucking hilarious as well, mate. When I'm on a long drive or when I'm revising,
Henry is a character for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just me, mate. You know, you could ask the Pig. I mean, am I different off screen?
Hen is totally different off screen. This is literally a character. Like he's a complete false. He's a complete false person. He actually supports Kettering Town. No, he's the real deal. He's really this much of a strange man in real life too. Yeah. Hey Pete, top man, thank you so much for the call. Thank you so much for the positivity at the end there as well. Like. This is just the overriding feeling I get talking to our subscribers is that, you know, this is a quality community of real level-headed people. Like, if we just got all of these guys into a room, we're going to have a good old time, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to be a dickhead. There's no dickheads around here. Yeah. Quality. Okay, mate.
Maybe Griffo Chaz.
Yeah, Griffo Chaz, where's your phone call in, mate, eh? We want to hear from you. Anyway, Pete, yeah, great call. Great topics discussed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for the energy there, and hopefully we'll speak to you again very soon, mate. But yeah, we'll better let you crack on because I'm aware you've got to get on and get to college, and we've probably been nattering on for about 10 minutes longer than we should have done there. So
that's
thanks
it.
very
That's
much for
it,
being
Pete.
here.
Just to let you know, Pete. You know, I'm not going to make the show political, but I'm not voting anymore, and you probably know why. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
No, I know what you mean by that, mate. And yeah, you know. Anyway, thanks for having me on, lads. It's been a good chat.
Top man,
Appreciate
great chat.
it.
Nice one,
Great
Pete. Have a
chat.
good day then, mate. Have a good week, and yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
See ya.
See you later, mate. Top man.
Bye bye.
Boom Chanka, there we are, lads and lasses. Pete Miller, what a great call from Pete there. Like some real key points brought up there. Fascinating to hear other people's opinions. And you know, like that's the thing with football. Like you don't have to have the same opinions. You just have to be prepared to listen to other people's. Do you know what I mean? Like he obviously really doesn't rate Solskjaer as a manager. I'm prepared to give him a bit more time. But this is it. Who knows who's right when it comes to football? That's what I mean. It's all just a game of opinions. Great vote, great calls today, though. Honestly, Henry, did you want to say anything before we wrap this puppy up?
Not really, mate. I'm pretty. I finished my beer now. I'm kind of sobering up, and I'm just thinking I might need to go to the shop and buy some more.
I thought you were stopping drinking, mate. Last Pig in the Hen show, you said, "Oh, I'm just having one, and I'm just not drinking at the moment. You know, right now."
Yeah, well, you know.
Do you know what? I actually went down the shop yesterday and bought 10 beers, mate. Like I never buy beers, but I fancied having a couple of beers last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, very rare. But I got the old what they call like like the cheapest shittest beers you can get at Asda. Well, they're not actually. They're quite nice. They're called Bière France or something. They're just those little stubbies, you know.
No, I've had them before. They're little stubbies.
They're all right.
Okay, mate.
They're all right. Yeah, they're not too shabby. I wanted to go get some
Heinekens,
Heinekens, but you know they didn't have them. That's what I'm into at the moment, mate. Is Heinekens. Do you know what I mean? It's a good lager. Right, I think we should wrap this show up. There's no more calls coming in, but I want to just to give a special thanks to everybody that does call in and everybody that gets involved in the comments section as well and comments along. Top lads and lasses. Shout out to Pete Miller in the comment section here, and also for calling. Obviously, Mark Sin has just super chatted saying thanks for having me on today, guys. Thank you, Mark, for calling in and contributing to the show as you did. Fantastic. Gungshi, top man as ever. Thanks for stopping by. He's just put in a late super chat saying thanks to Pig and Hen as well as all the callers and friends in the chat for making this a great little community. Oh my days, Gungers, this is quality stuff. And as Pete was saying, as Mark was saying, like, this is a great community. Like, the people who get involved in this chat, it's usually the same names. But there's obviously some randomers in there. But we have built up just this little community of like-minded folk that just seem to all get on and have a bit of bounce with each other. So it's very good stuff. Very good stuff. Hotspur, you got anything to add at the end then?
Well, not so much. I mean, you know, I'm kind of just a bit lost for words recently. You know, it's a political thing, basically. No, I mean, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to talk about it.
That's the beers talking, mate. We don't want to get into politics on the show. I bloody hate talking about politics anyway.
I know you
do. I
know you do, but you know, it's just getting to me, mate. You know, you might have noticed the head's a bit down tonight. And I'm a bit down because you know I'm just a bit down about what's going on. That's all I can say. Because I just. Do you mean in regards to what's going to happen?
In regards to the UK or China?
No, UK.
Okay, but you don't. Does it really matter? Because do you have any plans? Do you have any plans to live again in the UK?
Well, maybe you know, at some point.
Oh, okay, then fair enough.
I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. You know, however you want to say it. I love my country.
Respect.
I care about what's going on there.
Okay, no, that's a good enough reason to care. Yeah, fair enough.
Simple as that. So I'm just a bit lost for words.
In fact, it's quite funny, Hen, because I've known you a long time. I think you've taken more interest in politics and the well-being of the UK since you left, more so than when you were here. Am I wrong?
Well, I have done. Well, half the reason I left is because of the state of the politics whilst I was there.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is a shame. I mean, this country, it's got a lot of things going for it, but for the average person, like, it's such an expensive place to live. Like, oh, I don't want to get into it, but I was just going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you any personal stuff, but yeah. Just a little bullshit thing to say at the end there. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it is. There's lots of problems in the UK. Like, it's just difficult. The cost of living, healthcare. You know, healthcare is free, but other things like, you know, like paying for dentistry work and all that sort of stuff, for the average person, it becomes quite difficult. I know people not been to the dentist for years, because because they can't bloody afford it, to be honest. And that is a sad state of affairs, man. But anyway, the wind is overpowering, so I think that's a sign to.
I need to get this out one more time. Please, if you haven't yet already, go on YouTube, search Bob Dylan, search what is it, like selling his soul, and you'll see it. You'll see it. He admits it. He has sold his soul to the devil.
Okay then, Henry, thank you very much for the show today, mate. We're going to wrap it up there. Can you cup your mic for my outro here? Because this is obscene. This is horrible, mate. And you wonder why we've only got 30 viewers watching, eh?
I'm cupping it, mate.
Okay, nice one.
Is that helping?
I mean, yeah, okay, right, great stuff. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Pig and the Hen Show. I've been the Pig.
I've been the Hen.
You've been watching the Pig and the Hen Show. You can subscribe to the channel at the Flying Pig United on YouTube. Also, check out the audio podcast, which is available on soundcloud.com/Flying Pig United, or just search Pig and the Hen Show in your podcast app. So please go ahead and do that. Also, anybody who wants to support the channel on Patreon can do. You get the end credits here as well, and it just helps us hopefully one day improve the overall professionalism of the show and stuff. Henry, you need to send me your postcode. I'm going to send you a light and a microphone thing, 100%, because this is just a completely unacceptable show. Like, honestly, I don't want to just get on you at the end here, but we're trying to grow this show. We're trying to do a good show. If I listen back to the show, there's going to be moments where I'm like, oh, this is absolutely gash. Because all you can hear is wind blowing, and it's just a bloody nightmare, mate. So we need to do something about it.
You're only hearing the wind now, because I've just left the
No,
shelter.
It's all earlier on in the show as well, mate. Like, it's a put-off. Like, people want to hear... Like, obviously, the diehards are still in here, but people want to hear, like, a good quality audio show, mate. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it's going to happen, okay? We will do it. Henry's going to get the windproof mic, all that good stuff, and the light, ASAP. Send me the info after this call, Hen. Capiche?
Yeah, all right.
All right then, lads and lasses. You've been watching the Pig and the Hen Show. Thanks for stopping by. Have yourselves a bloody good one. We'll see you next week. Just want to address JP here, who's commented no Monday analysis with a crying face. I must apologise for not being able to do that. I had some stuff going on Monday. I was not able to jump on and do the Monday analysis, but I will.
What about your fucking music? What about your fucking, what is it?
Fire in my room.
Did you do one fire in the room for the Brighton?
No, I'm doing one for every team in the league this season, so there will be one for the away fixture. I'm just picking and choosing which ones, because it's obviously...
No, but that's lazy. That's lazy.
It's not lazy, mate. You try and write a whole new 3-minute song every week, mate. I'll tell you what you come out with. A steaming turd. That's what you'd come out with. So it's actually difficult, mate. If you want to write a decent song...
Someone's called you out. You're supposed to do something on Monday. You didn't do it. You're supposed to do a song for Brighton. You beat them. There wasn't even a song to get behind.
Just as well, like every time I've made a song, I've jinxed the side.
The listeners down.
I might be letting the listeners down, but I'm helping Manchester United here, mate. I'm helping United.
Such a letdown.
Because every time...
Such a letdown. I'm surprised.
I'm just going to mute you, Hen. I'm just going to mute you if you're not able to let me speak and just speak over me. That's it, you're muted. So I've just muted Henry. None of you can actually hear him anymore because he was just speaking over me, so I've had to mute the cunt. But anyway, yeah, the reason I didn't do that is because I'm doing it once for every team in the league. So we didn't do it this one, there'll be one next time around. Happy days. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no big issue about it. I'll announce it when I'm doing one. Anyway, yeah, you muted Henry. Nobody can hear you, mate. You were pissing me off at the end of the call. You'd already said goodbye. You'd already said your piece. You were gone, mate.
What? I've just muted to you. Sorry, I've just muted to the others.
Sorry, Hen, mate. You had to stay muted, pal, because you're just talking absolute shite over the top.
What do you mean? But why? How are you talking to me if I'm muted?
I can hear you. Nobody else can hear you.
So what are you on about?
I was closing out the show and you were making it difficult for me to close out the show, so I muted you. By the way, just so you know, you've actually been unmuted for the last 30 seconds, so... Anyway, look...
I'm going to listen back to this, mate. And if you muted me, mate, it's the end of the Pig and the Hen, honestly.
Well, in that case, guys, we'll never see you again. It will just be the Pig... It will just be the Pig and the Pig show next week.
All I'm doing is sticking up for fans out there that expect certain content. You've obviously let people down. You need to apologise.
And there you go. You're being muted again. Okay, so I've muted the guy again. Next week, I hope you guys tune in at 3 p.m. for the Pig Show. Not the Pig of the Head Show, just the Pig Show. I'll see you then. Right, anyway. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you very, very soon. You've been watching The Pig Show. Thanks very much for stopping by. No. We've got him raging.
You know, we haven't had enough rage tonight, mate. You know, we've been too nicey. Honestly, the pig. He's such a letdown. I hate you, pig. I hate you.
All right. Anyway, I love you, Henry. It just goes to show you what a negative person you are. Anyway, thank you very much for. Thanks very much for joining me, Hen. No, honestly, great show, mate. Great callers today. Thanks to each and every one of you. We'll see you soon. Time to roll the outro and roll the credits. So here we go. Thanks to each and every one of you for stopping by. Do us a favour before you go, if you can. Please do smash a like on it, subscribe, and give it a share if you can on social media. That'd be much appreciated. But until next week, 1 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll see you then. Take it easy. Have yourselves a bloody good one. And come on, United.
But come on, Spurs. You Spurs. You didn't meet me at all, did you?
You were muted, honestly. For a little bit.
Oh, you did mute me.
Yeah, you're not muted now again. You're just ruining the outro now.
How dare you? I don't give a fuck about the outro. How dare you?
Mate, that's why I've got the power. I've got the power. I can mute you any time that I want. Yeah?
How dare you, BB? I'm going to listen back.
Pig in the Hen Show. Pig in the Hen Show. Pig in the Hen Show.
You know, mutings are unacceptable.
See you guys later. Take it easy.